Assalamu alaikum, this is Dr. Mona Al-Idrisi, author of the Muslim Narcissist book and empowerment coach for Muslims. In today's podcast, I'll be speaking about dealing with narcissistic friends, family members, and people in general who envy you and are jealous of you. And I will also touch upon the subject of having codependent friends who are jealous of you and envious of you as well. So this is a huge problem that many Muslims are now facing in our Muslim communities, and it's really affecting them in a very negative way. And that could be physically, spiritually, or mentally. Okay, it can also affect them from a religious perspective, which I'll explain later. So this podcast is a follow-up from my previous ones about jealous backburners, jealous family members of narcissists who try to sabotage any progress they make to improve their lives and get better, and people who are jealous of empaths and the good they bring to the world. Okay, loads of people don't like empaths because they are good people, and deep down they know that they aren't, so they have this hate towards empathic people. So it's important that we address this today in the podcast, and I will go into some serious detail. Okay, so you will want to hear this one to the end, because I will address so many things. I will give you so many examples. I will give you all the symptoms of jealousy and evil eye that you might see in yourself. I will tell you what it is that you need to do to be able to cure yourself of it. Okay, so do listen to the end. I have no idea how long this one's going to be, but inshallah I will include everything that you need to know. So yeah, I hope inshallah you benefit from it. And as always, please do like the podcast if it helps you. If you enjoy listening to it, just hit that like button for me. Okay, you really do help the algorithm, because YouTube will then recommend these videos to people who search for the same subjects. And please do share the podcast with those whom you feel could really benefit from them. And do subscribe to the channel, sign up to the newsletter to receive notifications and emails about new podcasts and related content. And if you need one-to-one counselling and coaching, you can find my email address below if you need to contact me, or you can click on the link below and submit an application form, and I will let you know when I have availabilities, inshallah. And just to remind you that the counselling and coaching service that I provide is open for all men and women from all countries. So as long as I don't need to log on at 4 o'clock in the morning to speak to you because of the time difference, it's all good. So let's jump into this subject. Now I will start off by giving you an explanation of the difference between jealousy and envy, where it comes from, and what the Quran and Hadith say about it. And then we'll move on to the examples, and then the symptoms, and then the solutions. Okay? So jealousy is when someone likes something that you have, or they like who you are, and they want it for themselves as well. Okay, so they're jealous of what you have and they want it too. Envy is when someone is jealous of what you have or who you are, and they want to take it from you so they can have it for themselves only. Okay? That's the difference between the two. Jealousy is not as harmful as envy when it comes to the energy that is emitted from the person who is the hasid, okay, the envious, because it's a very dark energy that wants to take from you. Okay, they don't want to see you do well. They don't want to see you blessed. They don't want to see you happy. So they want to take your happiness and blessings so they can enjoy them for themselves only. And that's what makes envy more dangerous than jealousy. Because when you're jealous of someone, it won't actually bother you that they have what you are jealous of, as long as you have it too. Okay, because you want to feel blessed as well. But despite all your efforts and your dua, if you do not get the same blessings as those whom you are jealous of, this can either turn into envy later down the line of that person, or it can result in a severe depression. Okay, because now you start blaming Allah, you start hating yourself, you start having all of these horrible intrusive thoughts about yourself and Allah and other people that causes you to slip into a very dark place. Because you're always asking yourself, why has Allah given them those blessings and not me? Despite the fact that I'm praying for them all the time and I deserve them more than they do and all those things, right? You justify it to yourself. So when you don't get those, then what will happen is that you will start to become envious of those people. And that's a dangerous place to be in. Okay, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in Surah Al-Falaq, قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ. Say, O Prophet, I seek refuge in the Lord of the daybreak. مِنْ شَرِّ مَا خَلَقَ. From the evil of whatever He has created. وَمِنْ شَرِّ غَاسِقٍ إِذَا وَقَبَ. And from the evil of the night when it grows dark. وَمِنْ شَرِّ النَّفَّاثَاتِ فِي الْعُقَدِ. And from the evil of the witches and magicians who cast spells by blowing into knots. وَمِنْ شَرِّ حَاسِدٍ إِذَا حَسَدَ. And from the evil of an envious person when they envy. So, what is it that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to learn from Surah Al-Falaq? He wants us to learn and understand that an envious person has the same level of evil as the night when it's dark, because you don't know what's lurking out there. They've got the same evil as magicians who do black magic, and the same level of evil in humans, jinn, and wild animals that are predatory and harm other people. Okay, they attack, they harm, they eat, they will hunt you down and oppress you and all of that. Okay, when Allah says min sharri ma khalaq, this is open to humans, jinn, animals, everything. So the envious people are grouped in the same category of people and creatures who have that level of evil within them. This is how much Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala dislikes the envious people, and why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us to seek refuge in Him and His protection from the envious, because it is a very dark spiritual disease. And you'll notice anyway, if there are people around you who are envious of you, they're not pleasant to be around. You feel very uncomfortable around them, and I'll come on to those signs later, but these are people who have a lot of darkness within them. So if you are this person, or you are a victim of such a person, please do listen to the end, because inshallah this will inspire you to cure the spiritual disease you have within you of envy towards other people. And when you cure it, you'll become a better person, you'll become a much happier person when you understand where the root cause of it lies. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala dislikes jealousy and envy so much because it goes back to the story of Adam and Iblis. Okay, I've mentioned this story a few times in previous podcasts, but what I'd like to say is that Iblis was so envious of Adam that he plotted against him, right? He plotted to cause him to deviate and disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because he wanted the status of Adam. He wanted Adam's place with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He wanted to be the masterpiece of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? Because Allah told the angels and Iblis that he is my masterpiece. He is the best of all creation, and Iblis didn't like that. He ignored Allah's wisdom in creating the human being, and instead he focused on what's being taken from him. So the envy of Iblis caused him to not only sabotage the status of Adam alayhi salam, but also his own, which teaches us that the envy of an envious person will backfire on him or her eventually. It always backfires because you don't want good for other people. So if you don't want good for other people, you'll get that same energy back eventually, if not immediately. So Iblis had no idea that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would make Adam the first prophet on earth. He didn't know any of this. He just wanted to sabotage his relationship and status with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so he could go back to being the favourite and Adam alayhi salam would get kicked out of Jannah. So he wanted Adam to be exiled and go and live on earth, and Iblis takes his place. But what happened is that both of them got exiled. Okay, both of them sinned. One repented and one didn't. That's the difference between narcissists and empaths. The empath cried and repented, and the narcissist became even more arrogant. And the reason why Iblis hates human beings so much is simply because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created the human being as his most advanced creation that has an intellect that matches no other. And because of this, he asked the angels and Iblis to bow down to Adam. That was the first reason Iblis hated the human being. The second reason is because he wants to believe that Adam alayhi salam was the reason he was exiled from Jannah. Okay, because he doesn't want to accept that his plan backfired on him, and as a result he's been told to leave as well. He was hoping that Adam would leave and he would stay, because he knows that if Adam alayhi salam is not around, then he will have his position and his glory and all that validation back. And there's something that I'd like you to notice in the story of Adam and Iblis, is that he was the only jinn in Jannah. Okay, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked them to bow down to Adam, he asked the angels and Iblis, not the angels and all the jinn. He was the only one, and that's what made him so unique and special in Jannah, where he was elevated to become the gatekeeper of paradise. That's a very honourable position to have. And because the jinn have been created with free will, Allah elevated him to that position because of the love Iblis had for Allah and the love Allah had for Iblis. Allah says in Ayah 34 in Surah Al-Baqarah, وَإِذْ قُلْنَا لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ اسْجُدُوا لِآدَمَ فَسَجَدُوا إِلَّا إِبْلِيسَ أَبَى وَاسْتَكْبَرَ وَكَانَ مِنَ الْكَافِرِينَ. And mention when we said to the angels, prostrate before Adam. So they prostrated except for Iblis. He refused and was arrogant and became of the disbelievers. Okay, so he's the only jinn in Jannah. And there are narrations that say that he was actually adopted by the angels when the jinn ruled the earth before humans. And the angels took care of him because he was innocent and they saved him. And it is a reason why Iblis didn't want to go back to the dunya. He didn't want to go back to earth because of what happened there before. And we know this from Ayah 30 in Surah Al-Baqarah, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, وَإِذْ قَالَ رَبُّكَ لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ إِنِّي جَاعِلٌ فِي الْأَرْضِ خَلِيفَةً قَالُوا أَتَجْعَلُ فِيهَا مَنْ يُفْسِدُ فِيهَا وَيَسْفِكُ الدِّمَاءَ وَنَحْنُ نُسَبِّحُ بِحَمْدِكَ وَنُقَدِّسُ لَكَ قَالَ إِنِّي أَعْلَمُ مَا لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. And mention, O Muhammad, when your Lord said to the angels, indeed I will make upon the earth a successive authority, an ambassador, a prophet. They said, will you place upon it one who causes corruption and sheds blood? Again, while we exalt you with praise and declare your perfection? Allah says, indeed I know that which you do not know. So why did the angels say this to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? It's because the jinn before us were also created with free will, and they destroyed the earth. Okay, they had wars, there was bloodshed, it was bad. And the earth was ruled by the evil jinn. And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took them away. He banished them and exiled them to an unknown world from us, and he made Adam alayhi salam a new successor. So Adam became the new human creation with advanced intellect that the jinn don't have, so that he would do a better job of establishing peace on earth and spreading the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that was the mission of Adam. alayhi salam, he was to be the prophet and to create a new world full of believers. Okay? So the angels didn't understand why Allah would do the same thing again while He already has the angels who are perfect. They glorify Him, they don't sin, they don't make mistakes. Allah says to them, I know that which you do not know. So because Iblis loved Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala so much, he was expected to obey. Okay? I hear and I obey. So when Allah asked them to prostrate to Adam, there was an expectation of Iblis to do that, but instead he chose to envy Adam. He did not want to understand the wisdom of Allah. He didn't want to even go there and learn about the mission of Adam. Why did Allah create a human being? He didn't care about any of that. He dismissed all of it. He wanted to know why there was a new creation who was unique, more advanced, and created as the favorite. Okay, he wanted to be the favorite, but he decided that he would envy Adam, and he set out on a mission to take away his blessings so that he could have them, and so on and so forth. So this is actually the root cause why Iblis hates human beings so much, because he believes we took everything from him. He believes that Allah loves us more than him, and he's been sent back to a world that he was rescued from. Okay, he loved it in Jannah. He did not want to come back to this earth that the jinn had ruined, because Iblis knows that this world is full of hardship and he had a great life in Jannah. So when you envy someone, not only do you take away their blessings, if it's been decreed for the envy to work on that person because they ignored their adhkar and the advice of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to seek refuge in Him from those who are envious, because the evil runs so deep, only Allah can protect you from that kind of envy. Okay? So when you ignore your adhkar, you become a victim to those who want to take everything from you. So the first story about envy is the story of Iblis. And Allah mentions it and tells us this story because He wants us to know that being envious is a vile trait. Okay, it's a narcissistic trait. It's a trait that will leave you so dark-hearted because of how much damage it can cause other people. So when you are envious of people, much of it comes from your waswas. And again, your waswas comes from your qareen. And your qareen is an evil soldier from the jinn. And the evil soldier from the jinn is the one who obeys the commands of Iblis. So Iblis wants people to be envious of each other because it's a huge trait in him. So when he found himself exiled with Adam alayhi salam, he took one good look at him and said to him, "It's you and me, buddy. May the best creature win, because I will fight you with everything I have to destroy you, to prove to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that you are the faulty creation and that He made a huge mistake by making you an ambassador. And I will show Allah that His masterpiece will let him down." Okay, that's what Iblis is set out to prove to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He says to him in Surah Al-Hijr, ayah 39, قال ربي بما أغويتني لأزينن لهم في الأرض ولأغوينهم أجمعين. Iblis said, "My Lord, because you have put me in error, I will surely make disobedience attractive to your humans on earth, and I will mislead them all." And Allah replies to him and says, إن عبادي ليس لك عليهم سلطان إلا من اتبعك من الغاوين. Indeed, my servants, no authority will you have over them except those who choose to follow you from the deviators. So that's from ayah 42 in Surah Al-Hijr. So what Allah's telling us here is that those who are envious are following the ways of Iblis. Okay, and you follow the ways of Iblis by allowing his soldiers to have authority over you. And who are those soldiers? The qareens who are assigned to you. Okay, your qareen is with you every day. He is a soldier of Iblis. So if you allow your bad thoughts of Allah and other people, and you allow your envy to take over you, you are under the authority of your qareen, which means you are under the authority of Iblis. It's that simple, okay? Because when you become an envious person, you question the wisdom of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in giving blessings to various people. Allah gives what He wills to whom He wills, because there's always a wisdom behind that. So if you are going to adopt the traits of Iblis when it comes to envy, you will have the same outlook that he did. Why did Allah give Adam this privilege and this status when I'm more deserving of it? I want it taken away. You have the same perception of life as him, and that's a problem. This is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala really dislikes the envious, because it's a trait of Iblis that caused him to be exiled from Jannah when he had a very high position with him before. Now, some people might ask, if Allah dislikes jealousy and envy so much, then why did He give humans the ability to feel that emotion? Okay, there are two reasons. The first reason would be because healthy jealousy is good. Right? So, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to feel healthy jealousy to protect our loved ones, to protect your wives, to protect your husbands from fitna and all of that. So when jealousy is used with good reason, it can be a good thing. However, like any emotion, jealousy can be placed in the wrong place and it can cause harm and destruction the same way anger can. So when you have the ability to restrain your jealousy, you are practicing a trait of the believers. It's a test at the end of the day. It's a test for you to see what you're going to do when Allah gives other people blessings and doesn't give you the same ones. And it's a test for your tawakkul, your trust. Are you going to accept and believe that Allah has a hikmah, He's got a wisdom in giving some people blessings and keeping them from others, even though they want those blessings too? Are we going to believe that there's a reason behind Allah doing that, or are we going to jump to the conclusion that Allah hates us? Are we going to jump to the same conclusion of Iblis when he blamed Allah for being exiled from Jannah? He said, because of you, I am in this position now, because you exiled me, and it's because he doesn't want to hold himself accountable for the terrible plan he had that backfired on him severely, because he tried to fool Allah. He tried to fool him. Allah is the all-seeing, all-knowing. Do you think you can get away with something like that and not be exiled or not be held accountable or not face any consequences? You're a fool if you think that. Especially when you are someone who has been in the presence of Allah and you know Allah is the creator. That's why his punishment was quite harsh. Okay, because he was in the presence of Allah, he knew the power of Allah. So he took a risk by thinking he could play Allah, and it got him in this situation. But Iblis, because he can't hold himself accountable, he's in denial of what he did and it being all his fault. He blamed Allah and Adam for not getting what he wanted. Okay, and when you do that, you just go down a very slippery, dark slope. You enter a tunnel that is very hard to get out of. There's no end. So Allah did not hate Iblis. Okay, He gave Iblis a chance to rectify and repent and, come back to Him as a believer. But it's Iblis who continued in his ways. Okay? So this is why envy is the trait of the disbeliever. And empathic believers who understand this will abstain from these evil emotions. Okay, that's why you find loads of empaths who don't get jealous of people. They don't envy anyone because they're content with what Allah gave them. They know that they will receive their rizq in full. And they also know that what's been given to them has been prepared for their life mission. What hasn't been given to them isn't a part of their life mission, and it's not needed. So they're happy for other people when they get blessings. They don't envy other people for those things because they have enough love for Allah to know that if Allah wanted to give them the same, He would. And the only reason why He is withholding it is for their own protection, or because it's not needed, or because it could be a trial that Allah doesn't want to put them through. Okay? It's not their trial to go through. So the believer has that tawakkul, that trust, and that acceptance. Unlike the disbeliever, who will question Allah, be angry with Allah, and hate other people for no reason, just because they've been given certain blessings, and they get angry because those blessings have been given to people who are not Muslim, or they are sinners, or they are people who are not practicing, they're atheist, whatever. So those people feel that they're more deserving, as people who pray and wear hijab and go for umrah, they feel they're more deserving of it, all those blessings. And it makes them angry. Why is it that the non-Muslim gets everything I've ever wanted and I don't? Right? I'll come on to all of this later, but these are the questions that go through your head, and these thoughts come from your qareen. Okay, your qareen is telling you to think like this because it's the same way Iblis thought of Allah. So Allah allows us to feel these emotions, and the best of people are those who can tame them. Okay, you'll feel jealousy at times, but you can't allow it to turn your heart dark. You need to be saying, I'm not going to allow it to ruin my relationships with people. I'm not going to allow it to make me feel resentful of people and angry with Allah and hateful of myself. I'm not going to allow this emotion to do all of that to me. The same way you wouldn't allow anger to destroy you, because a lot of people do allow anger to destroy them. Okay, they go into a rage, and that rage turns into violence, and then they start ruining their lives with crimes, and it causes them to have a divorce. It causes their families to break apart because they can't control their anger. So if you allow emotions to rule your life, you're going to ruin your life. Okay, these emotions are given to us so that we can apply them correctly. When anger is applied correctly, there's rewards for that. So for example, you could be angry at an oppressor and fight for the rights of people. That's fine. You know, you'll be rewarded for that type of anger. But when the anger is towards Allah because He didn't give you what you wanted, you've now entered the state of heart of a disbeliever. Okay, I'm not going to say you're a kafir. I'm just going to say that your state of heart, spiritual heart, has now become that of a disbeliever. So you've got to be careful, okay? Because envy will do that to you. And it always boils down to how you perceive Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the way He gives people blessings. You determine whether your heart is that of a believer or a disbeliever in your outlook of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's wisdom and His will. Okay, this is the divine decree that we have to accept, because when we accept it, we become content. If we don't accept it, we won't find contentment, and we will always be angry, and we will always be restless, because we keep questioning why does this always happen to me? Why do I never get what I want? You'll never get what you want if you're an envious person, because your envy of other people will always backfire on you in the same way it did to Iblis. Okay, so we've got to learn from the stories that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us in the Quran. They're there for a reason. So you can't be a true believer if you have envy in your heart for other people, because envy actually has the capacity to nullify a person's good deeds. Okay, you will never be able to achieve a pure heart until you empty it from all envy, hatred and malice towards others, especially towards Allah. Okay, if you have anger towards Allah, when you don't work on that, it will get worse. And like I said, you will fall into the danger of being resurrected on the Day of Judgment with a heart of a disbeliever. So the definition of envy is that it is a deep desire to see someone harmed in something with which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed them, and for it to be taken away from them. Okay, you want to cause them heartbreak. So the person who envies is in reality very displeased with the way that Allah has distributed his blessings. You don't accept it. And that's why envious people are very miserable people. Okay, they spend years and years and years of their lives living miserably because they are always thinking about what they don't have rather than what they do have. They are very ungrateful people for the blessings Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given them. So everyone has blessings, everyone has a rizq in their life. When you focus on what you don't have, you become a very ungrateful person. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us that if you are grateful, I will give you more. So if you are ungrateful, I will take away. Okay, that's the opposite. So the more ungrateful you are for your blessings that you refuse to acknowledge, the more they're going to get taken away. And unfortunately, sometimes, instead of you waking up to that, you become even more envious of people. Okay, because now you're losing your blessings and you will envy other people who have the blessings that were taken from you. Make it make sense. And that's why you get lots of envious people who say, I have nothing. I don't have any blessings to be grateful for. Well, you don't have any now because you weren't grateful for the ones that you had. So Allah takes them from you. Okay, there are loads of envious people who will tell you that. I don't have anything in my life that's good. Sometimes they will because they won't acknowledge what they do have that's good. They belittle those blessings, or those blessings aren't good enough because even if they have enough in the bank, for example, to live a good life, they don't have 1 million. They don't have 5 million like other people. They don't have 10 million like others. So Allah causes what they have in their bank accounts to deplete. And then they start complaining, well, Allah definitely doesn't love me because I don't have anything in my bank now. Well, that's what's going to happen when you aren't grateful for the things that you do have. You aren't grateful for your health. You aren't grateful for that wonderful wife. You aren't grateful for that husband. You aren't grateful for those children. People lose them because they keep fixating on what other people have. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah An-Nisa, ayah 54, أَمْ يَحْسُدُونَ النَّاسَ عَلَى مَا آتَاهُمُ اللَّهُ مِنْ فَضْلِهِ. Do they envy people for what Allah has given them of His bounty? Imam al-Nawawi says, الحسد هو تمني زوال النعمة عن صاحبها سواء كانت نعمة دين أو دنيا. Envy is the desire for someone who has a blessing to be deprived from it, whether it is a religious or worldly blessing. So there are people who really envy others for the material blessings they have, such as being wealthy, having a nice house, having a lot of beauty, having lots of children, having a beautiful wife, a handsome husband, lots of gold and silver. There are people who really envy those people. Okay, they see them in a new car, new BMW, Bentley, Mercedes, Rolls Royce, and they hate them for it. And they hate them for their success in their business and their work, and they question Allah. Why did you give them success and not me? Why do I not have all these cars and these mansions and the 4 wives that man has and all these children? Why don't I have any of that? Why did you give it to him? Now it's a reason for the envious person to hate that person for no reason whatsoever, just because he's been given all of these blessings. And there are some people who will envy others because of their deen. So they will envy people for being religious. They will envy people for having a good character, for having a close relationship with Allah, for being peaceful. for being pure-hearted. They don't harm anyone. And for that reason, people love them so much. They envy them for that. They envy them for their level of faith. They envy them for any spiritual gifts that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave them. And they may envy people for being able to easily follow the rules of Islam. So you get some people who aren't tempted at all by the major sins. They're very content with their lives. They're very happy. They aren't people who have addictions. They're not narcissistic. They don't have disorders. And it's because they've worked on themselves. It's not because Allah created them to be so angelic. No, they've been through so many things and experiences and obstacles and hardships in their lives that have purified them and caused them to be that way. But the envious people don't see any of that. They just see the outcome. They see the result, which is a person who is happy, peaceful, close to Allah, spiritual. They love to pray. They enjoy being a Muslim, and they hate them for it. They hate them for this faith that they have. Why do they have faith and I don't? Why does this person have knowledge and I don't? Why is this person loved and I'm not? Al-Alim al-Safarini said, فإن الحاسد قد سخط قضاء الله تعالى فكره نعمته على عباده. The one who envies has become very displeased with the decree of Allah. So he hates that Allah has blessed his servants. Okay, there's a hate towards other people when the envious person sees that people have received certain blessings and they haven't. Okay, I'm just repeating this because many of the scholars have written about this. Even Ibn Uyayna rahimahullah said, الحسد أول ذنب عصي الله عز وجل به في السماء. يعني حسد إبليس آدم وهو أول ذنب عصي الله عز وجل به في الأرض وحسد ابن آدم أخاه فقتله. Envy was the first sin by which Allah was disobeyed in the heavens, as Iblis envied Adam. It was the first sin by which Allah was disobeyed on earth, as the son of Adam killed his brother. Okay? So envy in this sense is directly related to the desire to harm and to nurture hatred against the person who is envied. Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah said, والتحقيق أن الحسد هو البغض والكراهة لما يراه من حسن حال المحسود. The reality of envy is that it is the hatred and contempt a person feels when seeing the good condition of the one who is envied. The Prophet ﷺ commanded us not to envy and hate others. He told us that we should love for others what we love for ourselves. Anas ibn Malik radiallahu anhu reported that the Prophet ﷺ said, لا تباغضوا ولا تحاسدوا ولا تدابروا وكونوا عباد الله إخوانا. Do not hate each other and do not envy each other and do not turn away from each other, but rather be servants of Allah as brothers. As Zubair ibn Awwam radiallahu anhu reported that the Prophet ﷺ said, دب إليكم داء الأمم قبلكم الحسد والبغضاء والبغضاء هي الحالقة حالقة الدين لا حالقة الشعر والذي نفس محمد بيده لا تؤمنوا حتى تحابوا أفلا أنبئكم بشيء إذا فعلتموه تحاببتم أفشوا السلام بينكم. There have come to you the diseases of the nations before you, envy and hatred is the razor. It shaves the religion from someone, and it does not shave hair. By the one in whose hand is the soul of Muhammad, you will not be believers until you love one another. Shall I tell you something which, if you did, you would love each other? Spread peace between yourselves. So it's a message of peace and love, okay? And al-haliqa is the razor. So I think the Prophet ﷺ here didn't want people thinking that he was speaking about the actual razor for hair. So I just wanted to mention that because it might seem obvious, but back in those days, the use of the Arabic language could be misunderstood if it wasn't in its correct context. So basically, the Prophet ﷺ says that envy and hatred are serious spiritual diseases, and that we can't achieve salvation in the hereafter until we cleanse our hearts from these. Abdullah ibn Amr radiallahu anhu reported that it was said to the Prophet ﷺ, "Who are the best people?" And the Prophet ﷺ replied and said, "Kullu makhmum al-qalbi wa saduq al-lisani." Everyone who is pure of heart and truthful in speech. So they said to him, "Truthful in speech we know, but what is a pure heart?" So he said, "Huwa at-taqiyyu an-naqiyyu, la ithma fihi wa la baghi wa la ghilla wa la hasad." It is a heart that fears Allah and is clean. There is no major sin in it, and neither aggression, malice nor envy. Ibn al-Arabi, rahimahullah, who was a philosopher and poet in the Islamic Golden Age, wrote, لا يكون القلب سليما إذا كان حقودا حسودا معجبا متكبرا وقد شرط النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم في الإيمان أن يحب لأخيه ما يحب لنفسه. The heart cannot be pure if it holds malice, envy, pride and arrogance. The Prophet made it a requirement of faith that he love for his brother what he loves for himself. So faith itself, which involves accepting and submitting to the divine decree of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is contradicted by envy. Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu reported that the Prophet ﷺ said, وَلَا يَجْتَمِعُ فِي جَوْفِ عَبْدٍ مُؤْمِنٍ الْإِيمَانُ وَالْحَسَدُ. Faith and envy are never joined together in the heart of a believer. So envy leads to numerous sins, and as a result of these sins, a person's good deeds will be destroyed. So not only do you have a bad perception of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and anger towards Him, you might also set out to ruin someone's life and steal their blessings from them. Okay, we go back to the back burner situation with the man-child or the woman-child. When they try to steal your blessings from you, they try to steal your husband, steal your wife, they corrupt people, they spread a lot of malice and gossip, they spread a lot of hatred between people to break up families and relationships. There's a lot they can do. They could also go to your employer and make up lies about you so that you lose your job. They might tell your husband things about you that he shouldn't know from your past to make him hate you. There's so much that they can do to take away your blessings. Okay, that's what envy drives them towards. They can ruin your reputation simply by spreading lies about you. And they can set you up. They can steal from you. They can even poison you if they want to. They can kill you. There are envious people who end up killing people because of their extreme jealousy of them. Okay, they don't even want them to exist on this planet anymore because their existence in itself is a huge threat to them. They can't stand that this person is even alive because of how blessed this person is or how loved this person is. It can cause some people to kill. So this is what this hadith refers to. And Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu reported that the Prophet ﷺ said, إِيَّاكُمْ وَالْحَسَدِ فَإِنَّ الْحَسَدَ يَأْكُلُ الْحَسَنَاتِ كَمَا تَأْكُلُ النَّارُ الْحَطَبِ. Beware of envy, for it consumes good deeds just as the fire consumes wood. So if you are an envious person, all your good deeds will get wiped out because of how you feel towards other people. It's not your right to be angry with people who have blessings you don't have, because this is the decree of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if you do not agree or accept the decree of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, all your good deeds will get wiped away. This is why envious people are the most miserable people. They're very hateful people because they find themselves with nothing. And I tell you this out of love to wake you up. Okay, if you are that person, you need to wake up before it's too late and you find yourself with nothing but a black heart. Because a person consumed by envy of others will not be able to rest and attain peace of mind at all, ever. Ahnaf ibn Qais radiallahu anhu said, لا راحة لحسود. There is no rest for the envious. So envy can come from both narcissists and codependents. And the reason why I say both is because both of them suffer from low self-esteem and low self-worth. So when they see others have what they don't have, they will be the most likely to feel jealous. And it's because they haven't done the inner work to be able to attain a level of contentment that allows them to be happy in seeing everyone with their own blessings. So narcissists, because they possess a nafs al-ammara bis-su', which is the lowest level of nafs that is connected to the dunya, you'll find that they envy people with material blessings more than codependents. Codependents who are Muslim and they're practicing Muslims are more likely to envy empaths who have more of a spiritual connection with Allah and they are better in their deen. Now, narcissists also envy people for their religion and their connection with Allah, definitely. But codependents are more likely to do that when they see that the reason why they haven't got far in life is because they don't have the same faith as the empath. And the narcissist will envy an empathic person for having faith because they can see that faith has gotten them out of a lot of problems that they're in. Okay, like the turmoil, the hardships, losing a good spouse because of reckless and terrible decisions, right? They know that if they were to turn back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they would be able to solve their problems. But they envy empaths for being able to do it so easily. It's hard work for a narcissist to attain that level of faith and peace and contentment in their lives, right? It requires a lot of work, a lot of inner work. And because they're controlled by their qareen out of their own free will, so they've given the qareen that control, they will struggle 10 times harder than anyone else to achieve that level of faith, but it's only because they've allowed themselves to get that far. They haven't taken the signs and chances of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala seriously. Allah has sent them lifelines. Allah has sent them chances and near-death experiences and illnesses to wake them up, and they say, no, we want to be like Fir'aun. We want to be like Iblis. We're going to carry on with our transgression and our oppression until they get to a point where it's very difficult for them to do the inner work and turn around and actually do something good with their lives. So they envy the empaths for being able to have that easily. And they envy the wisdom of empaths and the intelligence of empaths for not pursuing the life that they chose. And that's why they'll mock you. If you're married to them, you've got parents like this, siblings, when they see you pray, when they see you read Quran, when they see you so happy to go for Umrah, when they see you easily fast Ramadan, they hate you for it. They try to sabotage your best moments. They try to ruin Eid. They ruin Ramadan. They ruin Friday prayer. They ruin your prayers even, right? They cause a huge problem or a huge fight before you go for Jum'ah or, before you pray your tahajjud. They'll laugh at you, mock you. This is out of jealousy. It's out of envy. They wish they had what you have. They wish they had your knowledge. They wish they had the love you have for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They know you're loved by Allah and they hate it. The same way Iblis hates that the human being could be admitted into paradise because of their love for Allah. He doesn't want you to love Allah. Iblis's worst nightmare is to see on the Day of Judgment that human beings loved Allah more than he expected them to. You see? So can you see how people who are envious of your faith are ruled by the evil jinn? And I'm just here to connect the dots for you. Okay, I want you to see it from this perspective. And that's why the person who comes out of narc abuse with their faith still intact is the winner. Because if they take everything but your faith, you're still a winner. And if your faith is taken after narc abuse or during narc abuse, he's won. That abuser has won. Because this is the mission of Iblis. I will send you the most evil people, the most evil jinn, to take away this faith that makes you so special to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it comes through people's envy of you having it. The next time your husband or wife mocks you for listening to lectures, enjoying being a Muslim, enjoying wearing hijab, enjoying doing this and doing that, I want you to remember that it's out of envy they do that to you, because any Muslim would be happy that you pray tahajjud and that you wear hijab properly and that you read Quran and that you're learning about Islam. Any Muslim who is good in their heart will encourage you, support you and join you. They won't attack you for listening to Mufti Menk. They're not going to punish you for listening to Umar Sulaiman because they don't like Umar Sulaiman because he's empathic. They're not going to do those things. They are envious of even the scholars and the preachers and the sheikhs and the imams who are empaths. They don't want you listening to them, because if you listen to them, you become a strong believer. They want you to listen to the misogynists, the red pills, the men who have mummy issues, the men who never went to therapy, the men who never found empathy, and who are envious themselves of other preachers and other scholars because they are loved more than they are. Okay, yeah, there's a lot of envy and jealousy between preachers, by the way, and loads of these scholars. Loads of them hate each other because some are more famous, some are more loved, some are more knowledgeable, some are more empathic. The scholars and preachers and imams who are the biggest threat to Iblis are the empath ones. That's why the Khawarij hate Umar Sulaiman and Mufti Menk and sometimes Bilal Asad and the others who are good with women, who are peaceful, they're kind, they're loving in their da'wah. They don't like them. They're always attacking them for that reason. Because of their envy, they feel that they have not been able to attain that level of empathy and love of the people. Yeah, there's huge competition in da'wah to be the best. I want to be the best in giving da'wah. I want to be the most famous and put on a pedestal by everyone. I want to have the most followers. I want to be paid the most to travel the world and give lectures and give talks and do charity adverts. I want to be the best. It's ridiculous. But this is the mission of Iblis when it comes to religion. Okay, so they envy you for your genuine love of the deen. That's why I tell people all the time, you come out with your deen from narc abuse, you're a winner. It doesn't matter what else they've taken. Because if you die the next day or on that day with a good heart that attached itself to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you're saved. Even if you lost your health and your children and your money and your house, you can lose everything. As long as you don't lose your faith and your connection with Allah, you will be saved, I promise you. Okay? So the envy of faith is a real thing. It's a real thing. And lots of your codependent friends will envy you for that too. Okay, because they see how it makes you confident. They see how it makes you content with your life, and they're not content because they don't like who they are as people. They look at you as a threat as well. And you're a threat because when they see you as a strong believer who's content and happy, you're okay with whatever Allah's given you, you force them to self-reflect. And when they look in the mirror and they see someone with low iman, someone who's miserable, someone who's not content, someone who's failed at many things in life and they're not happy with their decree, they're not happy with what Allah's given them, they're not happy with Allah because He didn't answer their dua. When they look in the mirror and see that person, they don't resent themselves, they resent you. That's why lots of codependents don't like being around empaths. And not just any empaths. Empaths who are more powerful than them, have more faith than them, and are stronger in their character. They can't be around them. They will secretly envy you for being the person they wish they were. So many people will be jealous of this. They like who you are as a person, and they wish that they can learn from you and become a person just like you. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. People can learn and admire, and this adi, it's not an issue. But when they want to be you, they want to have your personality as their own, they want to have your success as their own, it now becomes a problem. Okay, you can get this from both narcissists and codependents. They will start to copy everything you do. Okay, like I said, it's not a crime to be inspired by someone. It's not a crime to implement the same practices someone does in their life for them to be successful. This is what life coaches teach all the time. But it's a problem when they don't want you to be you. So they want you to be beneath them. And they want to be better than you. Okay, that's what the envious person thinks. So they will think of all sorts of ways to achieve that. And it's usually done by copying everything you do. And extracting so much from you, like your secrets. And I say secrets because when they want to bring you crashing down to the ground and they want to run a smear campaign on you, guess what they're going to use? They're going to use your secrets. They want to know your secrets as well because they want to feel better that you're not some great person. I want to weasel my way into your life, get you to open up, so you tell me about your past, your hardships, your experiences, so that I can feel better about myself. Like, oh, she's not that great after all. Oh, this person used to have this kind of lifestyle. Okay, now I feel better. They want the scoop on you so that you do not feel better than them in their minds. Okay, you're not thinking that you're better than anyone, but in their minds, that's what they're thinking. They want any information about you so that you lose that grandiosity in their minds. And then they'll use it against you later. Okay? So this is what happens to people when they are envious of your faith. They will look for flaws. They will lie in wait, hoping you're going to mess up, hoping you're going to sin, hoping you're going to do something that makes them feel better. Like, wow, okay, I didn't expect that to happen. I'm going to use that. I didn't expect to see that. I'm going to use that. So they prey on that. They wish that they can see something ugly in you because up until that point, everything they've seen is great. So they hang around in your life until they manage to catch you out in something. Or they manage to find out a secret or find out something you've been through that they can use to make themselves feel better. That's why they hang around. They stick around in your life. But they're depleting you from their envy. Okay, they're depleting you like no tomorrow. They're just hanging around to see, is this person really an empath? Is this person really who they say they are? Because I'm so jealous of you and I want anything to make me feel better. Okay, be careful. Be careful who you hang out with. If you have a feeling someone doesn't really like you, but they're showing you that they do, right, on the outside they're nice and sweet and whatever, but you feel that this person does not like me. The way they look at me, the way I feel around them, the way they say things. If you're uncomfortable with that, take that person out of your life immediately because they are hanging around to extract your secrets. Good or bad, they just want to know how you've become that person. Instead of just asking directly for help, they will slither into your life to extract knowledge, to extract tips, to extract free advice, to extract, business secrets, whatever. They will do that. But deep down you feel this person doesn't like me. You get the energy from them. If you really listen to your body, you will know what I'm talking about. And this can be your own husband or wife. It could be your own parent, your own sibling, your own best friend. Okay? Sometimes you feel like your own husband hates you, but they pretend in front of everyone that they love you and they're buying you this and doing this for you. Same with your wife. They act like they don't like you as a person, and that's envy. Okay? It's because they don't like who they are themselves deep down. They don't like who they've become. They don't like their life choices. They envy you for your better life choices. You're not in the predicament they're in, right? you're in a better situation and they hate that. You have a better character and they hate that. You have more peace, they hate that. So these are people who don't really have a strong sense of worth because they attach their worth to everything that's happened to them, and then they compare their life journey with other people's life journeys, and they think, well, why did Allah give her that journey? Or give him that journey? Why have I got this journey? Why do I have to suffer? Why do I have to go through this and that, and this person gets away scot-free? They didn't get away scot-free. You are seeing the outcome of what you haven't seen them go through, right? You've been through hardships that they haven't seen you go through, but they still have the audacity to question why you have more money, why you don't have to co-parent with a narcissist because you are smart enough to not have children with them, and why you have a more peaceful character, and that comes as a result of you doing years and years of inner work that they haven't done. So they will envy you for things that they aren't willing to put the work in to have. And this is why being around people like this is a bad decision. If you are choosing to be around people like this who just moan all the time about their life and are not grateful for what they have, and they are constantly complaining about what they don't have, and they're constantly talking about Allah doesn't love me, Allah hates me, Allah this, Allah that. If you're constantly around people with that energy, you're going to get drained, and it might start affecting you too. How does it affect you? It will affect you as an empathic person to start telling them about everything that's going wrong in your life to make them feel better. Because now you're starting to feel, oh, I don't want them thinking I live a perfect life. I don't want them thinking that I have it all together. I don't want them being jealous of me. Let me just tell them a few things about my life to make them feel better about theirs. So you start oversharing. And when you start oversharing, they're lapping it up. That's what they wanted, right? You are now sacrificing your own privacy to make someone else feel better. And they are storing all of this to use for later or to make themselves feel better. This is fuel for them to live off. Oh, so they're not living a perfect life. I feel better now. Now that I know all their secrets and their hardships and their problems, I feel better. And you'll see them perk up and they'll skip away because now they've got what they wanted. You've refueled them with this information. Big mistake. Never do that. Okay, don't overshare. Don't tell your problems to people whom you don't really know that well, because it will be used against you, or it will be used in their favour to fuel them to do better than you. Now, if someone goes on to do better than you, adi, whatever, like, let people do what they want to do. They become famous, they become rich, they become whatever it is that they want to achieve, let them achieve it. Just make sure it's not done off your back. Okay, make sure that people are not using you out of envy to get to where they want to be, because you are the one who's going to be affected later by the envy of these people. Okay, and I'll come on to the symptoms later. But just know something, that when someone's character is based upon the envy they have of other people, so what I mean by that is that they're always miserable, angry, resentful, they're always thinking the worst of people, and they don't like people for no good reason except for the fact that they have what they want. When that becomes the foundation of your character or their character, you will start to look for something to envy in everyone. You can't help it. Okay, so even if someone is poor, you will envy them for having lots of children. If someone is obese, you'll envy them for having beautiful hair. And if someone drives a bad car, old car, and it's literally falling apart, it's got dents everywhere, nothing to envy, you'll envy that person for being good looking. So if the driver is good looking, you'll be like, oh, I hate him for being so good looking. Why did Allah give him such great looks, and me? I'm the one who drives a BMW, the latest one out there, but I'm not as good looking as him. I want that too. And I want this, and I want this, and I want that. And just when I feel that I've reached a peak of happiness, I see someone else who I can envy because they've got something I'm still missing in my life and I want that too. That is the mind of an envious person, and that's why they don't rest. لا راحة لحسود. There is no peace or rest for the envious person. There's a known Arabic saying which goes, the envious person will envy a bald man for his nice eyebrows. Because it's a character trait of these people to constantly look at things that they can envy because they feel they are missing those in their lives, even if they have plenty of blessings. They don't care about those blessings because it's like someone who keeps hoarding money or hoarding possessions, right? They're not thinking about everything that they've hoarded. They're just collecting and collecting and collecting, and they just want more. So it turns them into ugly people, right? People who are not grateful are very unattractive people. And the most attractive people are those who are grateful for everything they have, from the minor to the major. They are wonderful people to be around, and they're comfortable to be around because they're not constantly having their eye on everything you're doing and have. And you can feel it when someone does. So the ungrateful person is the worst person to marry and the worst person to be friends with, because the envious person will belittle all the positive things in their lives because they are constantly comparing their lives to other people. And this is a major issue social media has brought upon us. Okay? People now have a reason to constantly envy others because they're watching other people's lives. They're looking at what people are eating, buying, where they're traveling to, who they're marrying, what kind of weddings they're having, what kind of lives they're living, what kind of mansions they're living in. They're looking at all of these things and they're living in a constant state of envy, which is why social media is so unhealthy for the majority of people. Okay, because when you are continuously scrolling on social media and looking at all these reels and posts and videos, it just refuels the envy that you have and the insecurities you have that Allah does not love you. That Allah does not want to give you what you want. Because you keep seeing more and more people have the things you want for yourself, but for some reason you're not getting them. And it makes you angrier and more resentful and more jealous of other people. So that's why a lot of people, they will lurk on the pages of those whom they hate. Okay, so envious people like to watch the people who have everything they want because there's almost an enjoyment they feel in the envy. Okay, so they say haters are your biggest fans, right? It's for that reason. If you have the life they want and the character they want, the personality they want, whatever it is, they are going to be your biggest fans. The haters are going to be the ones who watch everything you do. And it's because they revel in that envy. They revel in that mental torture that Allah does not love them and that they're not deserving of it. And it gives them a reason to hate people. Okay, envious people enjoy hating people. So they watch people's social media and stories and all of that because it fuels them. It feeds that dark heart of theirs. Okay, that's why it's so dangerous to be posting so much about your life. I've said this 100 times. Stop posting about your lives because the majority of people who are watching religiously every day without fail are the haters. The people who envy you, the people who are jealous of you. Because they always want to know what you're doing and what they're competing with. They want to know what they have to trump. They want to know what they have to, get a one-up over you on. So I'll talk more about this later, but they are your biggest fans. especially if you're posting a lot about yourself, about your life and your lifestyle and what you have. If you're doing all of that, you are opening up a portal for so much bad energy to come your way. So much dark energy, you have no idea. Okay, it's a dark energy that's emitted. And it's so toxic. It's so dark that if it hits you, it can put you in a hospital bed. Okay, all these people who are bragging and showing off on social media, and you're claiming to be Muslims, you're claiming to be practicing. Do you not believe in the evil eye? Do you not believe in hasad? Do you not believe in envious people existing? Because what's the use of all this show of you being practicing Muslims if you haven't believed in a very fundamental belief that there are people like this who exist and Allah's warned you about them? وَمِن شَرِّ حَاسِدٍ إِذَا حَسَدٍ. Allah's told you there are envious people. He's told you to be careful. But showing off is more important, right? And bragging about what you have is more important because you enjoy having haters. You love that people are envious of you and jealous of you. If you are one of those people, you have toxic traits. Because only toxic people enjoy being hated on. Okay, empaths are terrified of it. Empaths worry about bad energy coming to them and they protect themselves from it. And they will withdraw and they will hide their blessings. They will not reveal most of their blessings. I wouldn't say all, say most of their blessings. They won't tell you what they are because they believe in what the Prophet ﷺ said and they believe in what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told them to do and protect themselves from. But when you don't really believe in it, when you don't believe in the evil eye and hasad with conviction, you're going to brag and boast and show off and rub your blessings in people's faces because you want to upset people. You want people to believe you're better than them. You want people to believe that Allah loves you more than them and He's given you everything that you could possibly want. That's the message you're sending out to people, but you have no idea how much you're harming yourself. That's backfiring on you in ways you can't imagine. You're either having your good deeds depleted or Allah has taken away future blessings from you because He's seen how you've dealt with the blessings He's given you now. Perhaps the envy from the envious has killed the blessings in the rizq you've received and turned them into a curse. So sometimes the bad energy from envy can turn the barakah in your rizq into a hardship. So instead of your rizq being a source of happiness, it now turns into a hardship. Okay, for example, I've seen this a few times on social media. People have been envied for their beautiful children. So the child was given to them by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as a beautiful rizq. Because of the envy, something terrible happened to that child later. So the child may have fallen ill, he may have developed a terminal illness, he might have died in a horrible accident. So that rizq went from being a blessing to a hardship and a trial because of the hasad. And remember, hasad is when they want to take away the happiness from your rizq. They don't want you to have that rizq. So when something happens to that rizq and they see it, they see you lose it, they see something happening to it, they become happy. Okay, the envious people will always be happy when you lose your rizq. You lose the blessings that you are flaunting. They enjoy it. So why are you putting yourself in that position for people to enjoy seeing you suffer and see it as entertainment? You know, you're really risking yourselves out there. The Prophet ﷺ said, hide your blessings and your plans so you can complete them. Because for every blessing, there is someone who envies it. You know, there are people who are just waiting to hear about your blessings so that they can envy them. Okay? Now, you won't be able to hide all of your blessings. There will be things that happen to you that everyone will know about. But I'm talking more about the blessings that are flaunted. Okay? When you go out of your way to show off your blessings. So, for example, Everyone knows you got married. People don't need to see your couple pictures every day. But some people feel the absolute need to show everyone all the places they're going to and all the kisses on the cheeks and every gift and every meal and every car trip, right? Every Eid, every Ramadan. Honey, we've basically all been married to your husband, right? We've all lived the same life as you. Everyone's been watching your social media every day. All that's left is for us to share a bath with you as well. Because we've seen him brush his teeth, we've seen him in the gym, we've seen him in bed and do his beard and brush his hair and sit on a toilet, and we've also seen him in about 100 different outfits. We have all been married to your husband. And I speak on behalf of men and women here, okay? Because toxic women who love to have haters are notorious for posting about their husbands everywhere. They post everything, the appropriate and inappropriate. It honestly baffles me how a lot of men can be okay with this, but men are getting validation as well because they're seeing all the comments under the posts of women saying, oh, you're so lucky. Oh, I wish I had a man like this. Oh, I wish Allah loved me enough to give me what you have. Oh, this and all that. Oh, it's validation for them. They're lapping it up. Yeah, they're lapping it up because they love making people jealous. Okay, anyone who brags, anyone who flaunts has a high level of toxicity within them because they have no regard for the hasad of people. They don't care about it. They genuinely don't give a damn about what could possibly come their way as long as they are getting the validation and attention from people because of their blessings. And I also saw a post a while back, I won't mention his name, he's a dawah preacher, and he posted some stories of him parking all his supercars outside the masjid where he gives his Friday khutbahs, right? And he was writing in his stories that he loves doing that to make his haters' blood boil. And I'm thinking, you're supposed to be someone who is an imam and you preach about Islam and you give Friday khutbah and you want the envy of your haters by parking your supercars outside the masjid? It made me feel so sick at the ignorance of these insecure wannabe sheikhs who can never be sheikhs because their hearts are corrupt with ideas like this. Right, a true mu'min, a true empath never seeks the envy of others, never rubs anything in anyone's face, even if it's for revenge. You don't do it. I see a lot of people, they want to take revenge on their narc ex, so they flaunt their beauty, they flaunt their gym progress, they flaunt their new car, their new job. But you're only gaining more envy from the ex-narc who now hates you even more for doing better without them. And people find that this doesn't last very long, okay? Before they know it, they're back to feeling depressed again because of everything that's happened and their blessings get taken away. So when you see any supposedly religious person brag about what they have, brag about their 4 wives, brag about their supercars and all the properties they own and all that rubbish, know that they are covert narcissists. Okay, because a true believer, I'm telling you, a true believer is not attached to the material of this world. They're not attached to this dunya. I'm not saying you shouldn't have any. Yes, enjoy what, Allah gives you, but don't show off. If Allah has given you wealth and He's given you specific blessings that you know very well other people would love to have. Okay? So I would never trust a sheikh who drives a Bentley or a Lamborghini or a Ferrari anyway. I would stay well away from that person. The majority of them, I would say 99.9%, are all covert narcissists who just have that wizard beard on their face and their short thob and their high socks to make it look like they're religious. Just because they give a Friday khutbah does not mean that this person is at the status of an imam spiritually. okay? As long as you are making people envious of you and you're going out of your way to ensure that the hasad comes to you, then know that you are a fool, okay? Because only fools do silly, childish things like this. Okay, you're ignorant. If you truly understood Islam, you would know and understand that this is dangerous. Because the Prophet ﷺ, who you claim to follow and have as a role model, told you to not do this. But because of your ego, you choose to ignore some parts of the deen and follow other parts of the deen that suit you. Okay? I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I'm going to say it how it is. It's unfiltered. Because there are loads of people out there who need a serious reality check. And the only people who will flaunt their blessings are the ones who are so insecure because they constantly feel like they have something to prove. Right? They have to prove to everyone, I've got money, I've got beauty, I've got knowledge, I've got this, I've got that. They flaunt it constantly because they want to prove that they are better than other people, or they want to prove that they are worthy of having what they have. That's why when a lot of people suddenly come into a lot of money from an inheritance or the stock market, for example, they will go all out to prove to the world that they're wealthy. Okay? They will buy the latest cars, dress in the most expensive clothes. They will throw parties like Gatsby every weekend because they've got something to prove. I'm finally wealthy. I finally got some money to show off with. And it's always those people who lose it the quickest. Okay, it's like lottery winners. You hear about them all the time. They win like 10 million. And within the span of a year, it's all gone. They've blown the lot. Because they don't understand that the mindset they have of showing off their blessings will actually deplete their blessings quicker. So I'm going to list a few things that envious people will go through as a result of their own envy. Okay, so the first thing will be that they will never be able to enjoy their own blessings because they're always comparing their blessings to other people. So for example, someone has a wonderful family, beautiful wife, wonderful kids, but his brother is promoted at work and he has enough money now to buy a Lamborghini. So his brother is not married, he's got no children, so he's invested his time in his career. So this envious man will look at his brother and be like, I wish I had a Lamborghini. I would give up everything I own to have a Lamborghini like my brother. So they begin to belittle and think less of the blessings which Allah has given them, which causes those blessings to be taken away. The second thing is depression. Envious people fall into a very deep depression because, like I said, they always believe that other people get what they want, and it causes them to just hate everybody. And this hate causes them a lot of depression because they don't like anyone. They don't like people. Third thing is anger problems. So they'll develop loads of anger issues towards the people whom they're envious of. And these could be their own family members. Okay, if they believe that you don't deserve what you have, they will either work to destroy it or take it from you, or make you feel like you're not worthy of it and that you should give it to them, right? So anger problems come out because of their frustration towards you, that you've managed to achieve or have what they want and they can't get it. They've tried and they can't get it. So they project their anger onto you and their insecurities, and they also take out their anger on those whom they envy. Another thing is that they increase in their sins, so they will backbite a lot, for example. The jealousy that they feel causes them to go behind someone's back and talk about them in a way that's not nice, but they're actually very nice to that person's face. Okay, they will be sweet and lovely and kind and empathic, wonderful people. But as soon as they go to other people and they start talking about you, it will be negative. Because they can't stand the fact that you're better than them. They can't stand that you have what they don't have and what they feel like they can't achieve. Okay, what you've managed to achieve, they believe they can't do it. They believe they don't have those blessings and those skills and those talents or whatever it is. They don't have what it takes to be like you. So it makes them feel better when they go behind your back and belittle what you do, belittle your blessings, belittle your achievements and your success and your ability to be the way you are. They belittle it and they say things like, oh, who does she think she is? Or he's so full of himself all the time. He really loves himself, that guy. He thinks he's so wonderful. They will say things like that behind that person's back because it's their way of feeling better about themselves. And they also feel better when they get to spoil your image a bit. Okay, they don't want people to think highly of you. They don't want people to think that you are better than them or more advanced than them or, better in what you do than they are. And sometimes this jealousy can become so intense over time that it doesn't allow a person to be satisfied with just backbiting, and it causes them to, do other things that are harmful, such as slander you. In a smear campaign, they might try to, damage your property, poison you, or even steal from you. And this could be stealing your work. This could be stealing your ideas and, starting their own business with your ideas. They do things like that. Okay, when it gets too much for them, they resort to stealing from you so that they can become you, but they'll never become you because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created everyone uniquely. Everyone has a unique purpose in this life, and you will get blessed in accordance to the mission you have been set. But these envious people don't believe that people have their own blessings for their own divine purpose. Okay? Those people wouldn't be able to handle what you have. Yes, Allah's given you blessings, but perhaps more responsibilities with those blessings. Responsibilities that they couldn't carry or they don't have the time to carry. So they don't look at it from that perspective, that Allah did not give me those blessings because I'm actually unable to handle them. Allah has equipped that person and prepared this person in their lifetime to be able to handle the responsibility of what He's giving them. Okay? Allah prepares everyone in their life journey for what they are assigned to do. So you're envying people for things that you couldn't even handle if you were to get them. Okay? And perhaps if you were to get them, they would be a cause of a hardship for you. So Allah did not give them to you because He knows that you couldn't handle that hardship. That's it. But you're chasing and chasing and chasing all these blessings other people have, not knowing that if you were to have all that money, you would be tested in a way that would cause you to fail because you're weak with money. And you might have lost your deen by having lots of money. You might have, done haram things with it. So Allah does not give you wealth. He will cap your rizq at a certain point because Allah knows that if He was to give you more than the limit, then you'll lose yourself. Okay, but you think you can handle it. You think that if you got £10 million in your bank that you'll spend it wisely. No, you won't. Allah knows how you're going to spend it. Allah knows how that money is going to get to your head and how you will lose yourself, and perhaps you'll get yourself into drugs and all sorts of terrible things. So when Allah doesn't give you something, you have to think well of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to know that it's for a good reason. But when you don't think well of Allah, you will think of all the ways Allah is so unfair, so unjust, so unloving, and so hateful towards you. And that's where your self-hate grows from, where envy causes low self-esteem, self-loathing, and very strong waswas. Okay, when you enter that state of mind, you will have terrible intrusive thoughts. Your qareen is looking at you as a prime victim right now because you're in a very low vibration. You're always thinking negatively of people. You're always angry. You're always upset. You're always jealous. You're always envious. This is the perfect energy level that the qareen needs you in all the time to get the worst out of you. So people who are envious, they get the worst intrusive thoughts. They have bad OCD, they can get suicidal thoughts, and they can also get thoughts that are dangerous towards people. Because of their envy, like I said, it can cause them to actually physically harm people from their intrusive thoughts. Okay, the qareen makes them think about this all the time. The envious person is a dangerous person because you have no idea of all the evil that goes through their head. That's why you need to avoid them as much as you possibly can, even if they are your family members and people whom you've known for a very long time. And this is especially the case if you feel that they are envious of your relationship with Allah. Okay? If they believe Allah loves you more than them, if they believe you're someone who people love, and if they believe that you're someone who people admire, for example, or look up to, then you have to be extra careful with having envious people around you. Okay? Because if you do not protect yourself with adhkar, that I will explain later, you can actually have your deen depleted from you. It's really that dangerous. It will start affecting you, and it's a dangerous type of envy because these are the people who are nice to your face, but in reality, they don't like you because they want to be you. They want your confidence, they want your skills, they want your character, they want your life, they want your blessings, they want everything about you. They become obsessed with you. Okay, they become fascinated, intrigued, and always want to be in your space because of it. Okay, be very careful with people like this. They will drain you of everything you have while they use you to climb a ladder to be better than you. So be very wary of those who are very curious about you and are desperate to know everything about you. Those are the people you stay away from. So I'm just reminding you again in case you didn't catch it the first time. You'll be doing yourself a huge favor by staying away from people who do not accept the divine decree. Because if they don't accept it, then they will always have an issue with you if you were to come into blessings that they themselves prayed for. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Saba, verse 39, قُلْ إِنَّ رَبِّي يَبْسُطُ الرِّزْقَ لِمَنْ يَشَاءُ مِنْ عِبَادِهِ وَيَقْدِرُ لَهُ وَمَا أَنْفَقْتُم مِّن شَيْءٍ فَهُوَ يُخْلِفُهُ وَهُوَ خَيْرُ الرَّازِقِينَ. Say, indeed, my Lord gives provision for whom He wills of His servants and limits it for him. But whatever thing you spend in His cause, He will compensate it, and He is the best of providers. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that He will give rizq to whom He wills, and He will limit it in accordance to what He can handle. Okay, this is divine decree. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you something, but gives others more of it, it's because Allah knows they can handle it, and perhaps they're more deserving of more than you because they've done the inner work, they've done the hard work needed to make their business successful, and so on and so forth. Okay, it's not just about Allah loving people more, it's also about the work people have put in, and the tahajjud and the prayers, and the positive perspective they have of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That makes a big difference in the rizq they receive from others. So if you believe that other people receive blessings because Allah loves them more, ask yourself why you believe Allah loves them more, and you'll find your answer. Okay? You know deep down why Allah loves them more. You know they're good people. You know they are people who don't harm anyone. You know they are people who aren't envious of anyone. And they do a lot of good. So people who believe Allah loves others more are those who see a lot of good in the people who receive the blessings they want. And they themselves know that they aren't to that level. And if they see people being given blessings and they're not good people or they're not even Muslim, then they will look at Allah as a God who is unfair and unjust. okay? And they will not understand Allah. And they won't attempt to understand why Allah would give bad people good things, not realizing that what Allah has given those people is a test of their patience, a test of Iman, a test for them to see if they will finally wake up and believe in a God. There are loads of reasons why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would give blessings to people who are not good and people who are not Muslim. There's also da'wah in blessings. So we can't judge these things. But what we can do is work on ourselves so that we can be content with what Allah gives us and doesn't give us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Ash-Shura, Ayah 49, لِلَّهِ مُلْكُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ يَخْلُقُ مَا يَشَاءُ يَهَبُ لِمَنْ يَشَاءُ إِنَاثًا وَيَهَبُ لِمَنْ يَشَاءُ الذُّكُورَ. To Allah belongs the dominion of the heavens and the earth. He creates what He wills. He gives to whom He wills female children, and He gives to whom He wills males. أو يزوجهم ذكرانا وإناثا ويجعل من يشاء عقيما إنه عليم قدير. Or He makes them both males and females, and He renders whom He wills to be barren. Indeed, He is knowing and competent. So in these two verses, we can see clearly that it is up to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala what He gives and to whom. Okay, some people might only have girls, some people might only have boys, some might have both, and some might not have any children at all. This is by the will of Allah because He is all-knowing and competent. He knows what He's doing. So when you have friends who claim to be religious and they're always reading the Quran, but they're moaning about not having a son, or not having a daughter, or not having any children, or not being married, or not being wealthy, or not having a successful business, these are people who haven't understood the Quran properly. They're reading it out of habit rather than to understand. Okay? Don't let people do this to your energy. Don't let people moan about what they don't have when alhamdulillah they have many things to be grateful for. Okay, this is just an example in the Quran of something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us that many people choose to ignore simply because they don't like it. I don't like that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives what He wills to whom He wills. There are people who can't accept that. So they make a deal out of complaining about something that you shouldn't be listening to, because this is divine decree. This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told you that He's going to do. So when you constantly listen to people talking about how displeased they are with Allah and His, divine decree, then these are people you really should be avoiding. And it's to protect your own Iman. Or at the very least, try and steer the conversation towards the blessings they do have, especially if they're family members, you can't avoid them. Try and remind them of the beautiful things they have in their lives that they need to be thankful for. Okay? And now if they continuously say, yeah, I know I've got that, but it's not good enough. It's not what I wanted. It's not what I prayed for. It's not what I hoped that I would get. I'm disappointed that I got a boy. I wanted a girl. If they continuously belittle their blessings, you really need to avoid this person. Because believe me when I tell you, they've got an eye on yours. Okay? They've got an eye on yours. And they will mention it. But you, mashallah, Allah gave you 4 boys. Allah gave you a good husband who's hands-on with the kids. Allah gave you money. Allah made you successful in your business. How did you do it? What's your secret? Why does Allah answer your dua? You should be making dua for me because Allah answers your dua. He doesn't answer mine. It's easy for you to say, be grateful for this and be grateful for that. You have everything you want. You have everything you prayed for. It's easy for you to say, make more dua, be more patient, be grateful with what you have. I didn't want any of this. I wanted what you had. But Allah gave it to you. So maybe if you pray for me, I'll have what you have. Some people say this directly, and some people say it indirectly with riddles. But either way, you'll understand that they have this bitterness that comes from a belief that Allah answers your dua and not theirs. They believe you're more special, that Allah's put you on a different rank than them, and they want to know why. They want to know what it is that you do that made Allah put you on a different rank. And it's not that Allah has, it's just because of the character you have and the fact that you are content. Khalas, Allah gave you 4 boys, He gave you 4 boys. That's what I got. Alhamdulillah wa shukr. You're grateful for whatever comes to you, so Allah gives you more. وَلَئِن شَكَرْتُمْ لَأَزِيدَنَّكُمْ. If you are grateful, I'll give you more. Grateful people always get more. And those who are ungrateful will be deprived. But they don't understand that concept at all. They want to know what makes you so happy. Why are you always smiling? Why are you always having a great time despite you just going through a divorce, despite this person passing away, despite you losing your business, despite you being really ill? What makes you so happy? Why are you so happy, huh? Because if I were you, I would have been suicidal. I would have been depressed. I would have been so angry with Allah if He did that to me. I would have. You see how they envy you? They envy you for even the way you react to your hardships and the way you deal with them. Because if they were in your position, yes, they would be suicidal and they would be bitter and they would be angry. So they envy you for this. Be very careful. Okay, even if you tell them you're happy about getting a divorce from your abusive husband, they don't understand why you can be so happy. Because they're terrified of getting a divorce. And they hate the fact that you can be happy with a divorce while they are so codependent and so trauma bonded, staying in their own marriage, unable to leave. They feel envious of your freedom. They feel envious that you have the bravery to get out. They hate that you don't have any children from an abusive marriage and they're stuck with children. They hate so many things about you that they are unable to leave, that they are unable to deal with, or they're unable to detach from. So when they see that you're able to do that and move on with your life and be happy and accept a divorce, and you don't let people bring you down, you don't let people shame you about it, they secretly hate you for it because you have the bravery they wish they had. You have the freedom they wish they had. But they're just not willing to do anything about their situation because they're trauma bonded or they're terrified or whatever reason they have. So they don't like it when you talk about your divorce and how you're moving on with your life and how you're meeting new people and how life is so much better without the narcissist. They envy you for that. They really do. And then they start talking behind your back. Who does she think she is? She thinks she's better than everyone. She's free. She doesn't have a horrible husband to deal with. You know, all of a sudden now she's divorced. Look at her. She's gone liberal. She's lost her deen. She's done that. You haven't lost your deen. You haven't lost anything. But it's a story they make up to make themselves feel better. You see? So you got to be careful. I can't say that enough. When you get those vibes, take them seriously. And these are the people, usually, when they do come into blessings, they never share them with you. You're the last person they think of when it comes to sharing their blessings. Let's say they come into a lot of money. You think they're going to remember you. They don't. They think of all the times they envied you and all the times Allah answered your prayers and all the times, Allah did great things for you but didn't do it for them. So when they do come into something good, they are very selfish with it and they'll never remember the times you had to listen for hours and weeks and months and sometimes years of them moaning and complaining. You allowed them to come to you as a friend, as a family member, to always talk to you and dump all their issues on you. But when life gets good for them, they don't remember you. Okay? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah An-Nahl, Ayah 71, وَاللَّهُ فَضَّلَ بَعْضَكُمْ عَلَى بَعْضٍ فِي الرِّزْقِ فَمَا الَّذِينَ فُضِّلُوا بِرَادِّ رِزْقِهِمْ على ما ملكت أيمانهم فهم فيه سواء أفبنعمة الله يجحدون. And Allah has favoured some of you over others in provision. But those who have been much favoured would not share their wealth with those bondspeople in their possession, making them their equals. Do they then deny Allah's favours? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala here is talking about people who come into a lot of wealth, but they don't pull other people up with them. So Allah refers to ma malakat aymanuhum, who were their concubines, right? Their servant women. So Allah's saying that I've given you so much wealth, why do you not pull up people who could do with the money and make them your equal, because you have enough money to make everyone around you your equal in financial provision, but they don't. So Allah says, do they then deny Allah's favours? So now you become arrogant with the favours of Allah, and you don't use it wisely to help people and to show gratitude to those people who were there for you and helped you, and so on and so forth. So Allah mentions ma malakat aymanuhum here, but you can apply this to the people around you in your lives who are vulnerable, right? Those who you could help when you have so much wealth. But these are people who get really greedy. So as soon as they get what they prayed for and what they wanted, they become so selfish and they use it in a wrong way. They use it to rub it in people's faces. They use it to brag and show off, and they don't help the people who are there for them. And that's why this rizq does not last very long. Okay, like I said, you'll find that it runs out very quickly. But it's a trait of those who are envious. When they come into something good, they forget about you. You are a nobody to them. They're out enjoying their rizq, and they completely forgot that you were once there for them when they were in their darkest days. That's why I'm telling you, don't take on all their drama and their traumas and their issues. Let them go and seek professional help. You're not their dumping ground for all their complaints and their moaning and their toxic gossiping and their problematic issues and emotions towards themselves, Allah, and other people. So let's get on to the examples of people who are envious of you, so that you can know the signs and either distance yourself from them or completely cut them off if they are toxic friends and acquaintances. So there are two types of envious people. You have the overt and the covert. The overt envious people are those who are open and obvious, of their envy towards you. And the covert are the ones who pretend to like you, but behind the scenes they feel differently, to what they show you in person. So the overt envious person may do things like openly belittle you. They criticize you. They send you sugar-coated attacks. They make fun of you in front of people. They copy everything you do and may even say it out loud that they are jealous of you. Right? They always say it, I'm so jealous of you. Like, how is it that you have this and I don't have that? They're open and verbal about it. They are highly competitive. You know that they are competing with you. They want to do better. They've made it very clear. They turn people against you in smear campaigns. They give you terrible advice. They try to destroy you and your reputation. They're known to be your haters. They are known to be an enemy to you. And this again could be a husband, wife, parent, sibling, friend, or so-called friend. You can tell that this person doesn't like you. It could be a colleague at work who is a rival, and they make it known they don't like you. And they make it known that they hate your talent, they hate your skills, they hate your work, your creativity, your achievements, your success, your deen. They make it clear that they have to win over you and that they are in constant competition with you. And if they can't win, they're out to destroy you. They make it clear. These people aren't as dangerous as the covert. You can understand why. It's the same with narcissists, right? The ones who are open with their narcissism are not as dangerous as those who hide it. So it's better to know that someone has poison in their hand that they wish to give you than being with someone who is dripping poison into your cup behind your back. And when someone is an open bully towards you, you can deal with it more effectively than dealing with someone who is bullying you in a more subtle way. So they make you believe that you are seeing things. They gaslight you a lot into believing that you're the one who's going crazy, you're the one who's misunderstanding everything, and that you're too sensitive, and that you think badly of them, and that's why, you guys always have problems. It's worse when you're dealing with a subtle bully. But when you're dealing with an open bully, it's easier to make a clear judgment on the situation and have support. Okay, so if people are witnessing this bullying that's going on, then you're more likely to be helped than if you were dealing with a covert bully. Okay, so those are the common signs of a overt envious person. And I'll move on now to signs of a covert envious person and just pick what resonates with you. Okay, I will go through a list of examples that I've prepared. So I'll try and whiz through them to save on time, but I'm sure most of you, if not all of you, would have experienced at least 3 of these. So as I mentioned before, many of them will pretend to be your friend because they want the inside scoop on your life, so they know about your problems and your secrets so that they can use that information to elevate in their own lives and then leave you behind. They are also people who don't like you, but they watch your every move. So these are the people who are religiously on your social media stories, on your posts, on your pages. They're the ones who are watching everything, but they don't say a word and they won't like anything at all. Okay, they show no support. They're just there to watch your life to see what it is they're competing with. And they just want to know what it is that you have that they can envy. So they enjoy watching you because they believe that one day they will get to witness your downfall. They'll get to witness the destruction of your blessings, when they get taken away. For example, news of a divorce, news of an illness, news of bankruptcy or your business failing or shutting down. They hang around to wait for the bad news too. So if you see people on your pages and they watch everything and they never, ever like anything you post, even if it's a poll, even if it's like a questionnaire or a survey, and they never participate, but they watch every day, unfortunately, these are your haters. Especially if you know these people personally. Okay, there are lots of people who might not like to participate in everything, but it's strange that they won't participate in a thing and won't like any post, not one, but they're obsessed about watching everything you do. So just be careful. And if you want confirmation that these people are haters, look at the other pages and people who they support. You will see that they like other people's posts, they repost other people's posts, they support, they share, they engage in comments and all of that, but not with your page. Okay, they watch your page, but they will not engage with it like they do with other people. And that's how you know they have an issue with you. Because you might share something they do. For example, you might promote their business, you might promote their artwork, their craft, whatever it is that they're doing, but you'll notice that they do not share your work back. Okay, they don't post anything for you, they're not promoting you. And if you ask them, they say, I didn't have time. It slipped my mind. I didn't think of doing that. Sorry, I'll get around to doing it one day. They never do because they don't want to promote you. You are competition for them. Okay, they don't want people to go to you. They don't want people to see you in higher regard than them. So even if you're supporting them and you see no support back, I'm telling you it's a sign that they do not like you. And the opposite is true. So when people really do love you, they will go out of their way to support you, promote you, share your work, share your talents, your skills, everything, because they genuinely do have that love for you. They're quick to support you. So you will know the difference between them and the people who are just lurking on your page to extract information that they need to use to either improve in their own lives because they're benefiting from what you're posting, or to use for a later date, or it's just simply to envy you. They want to assess the competition. So you'll find many of them as well, they will keep you close for freebies and knowledge that helps them to grow and compete with you. So for example, if you have a business and they like your products, they will want to be your friend because they can get lots of freebies from you. They can get loads of discounts and tickets and all sorts of things, right? So even if you work in like a department store or a designer brand, you might get a 30% off staff discount. You will have people who stick around in your life so they can benefit from the 30% discount you have. Okay, there are people like this, and they'll only be nice to you because they're benefiting from that supply. Okay, and if you have knowledge, like I said, they will use it in their own work. They will never credit you for it. They will take what they learn from you and present it as their own work. They will take business secrets from you and start their own business. And you might even have important connections, and they benefit from those connections. For example, you've got connections to celebrities, sheikhs, preachers, businessmen, investors, and they come to you when they need you to connect them to someone important so that they can elevate in their work quickly. Okay, you get people like that, but behind your back they talk badly about you because they don't like the fact that they have to come to you and learn from you and seek help from you, someone they don't really like, because they see you as someone more elevated. So they feel weaker at having to learn from you and, use you for your connections and everything when they couldn't do that themselves. They couldn't start up their own business and, create their own products. They have to come to you for freebies. They don't like doing that. And the more they do it, the more they realize, they know they're pathetic because they talk about you badly behind your back. They know they're two-faced. They know they're only doing it to gain these benefits from you. So they envy the connections you have. They envy your knowledge. They envy your initiative to start a business and make it successful. They envy your hard work and your drive to do well. They don't like any of that. So because they see you as someone who is better than them, they come to you for help to extract, and then they go and do their own thing without any acknowledgement of any help you gave them. Okay, they will never tell people that it was you who supported them. And it's for this reason I don't encourage people to have close friends who are in the same field of work. Because what usually happens is if you do well and you get promoted at work and they don't, you get paid more and they don't, people like you more, people acknowledge you more, people prefer to be around you, eventually that person would envy you. And they're your closest friend. But it will start to eat at them that you are completely different from them and they can't be who you are because it's your character who is getting you all these promotions, and it's your drive, it's your passion, and it's something they don't have within themselves. So you might have started off fine, the best of friends, you're supporting each other at work, but then slowly, the envy starts to creep in because they see you doing better. And this can happen between husband and wife in the same field of work. This can happen between parents and their kids. So if your father's a doctor and you're a doctor and you get more awards than your dad, you get more recognition, you get more promotions, he's going to be jealous if he's a narcissist. He's not going to like that his kids are doing better than him in his profession. How dare you? You've insulted me, right? Mothers are the same as well. If they're narcissistic, they don't like it when their daughters achieve more than they do. And of course, you've got sibling rivalry when it comes to competing for the golden child throne, right? They compete with each other. And a toxic mother might also be envious of her daughter if she marries a good man, because she's stuck with a man who she doesn't like. So when she sees her daughter marry a good guy who treats her well and spoils her and all of that, she becomes very envious of her daughter. And you get mother-in-laws as well who become envious of their daughter-in-laws when their sons get married. There's so much envy in people, but it's hidden, it's sugar-coated, right? Because they can't come out with it openly. So yeah, if you're in the same field of work, I advise that you distance yourself from people. Don't get too close, because it's extremely rare for you to find a true empath believer in the same field of work who wants for you what they want for themselves. Very rare. It's very rare for you to find someone who will actually support you properly and you don't feel uncomfortable around them and you don't have any doubts in your mind that they don't like you. You know 100% they've got your back. You know 100% that they are who they say they are to your face. So if you have friends like that, you're very lucky, alhamdulillah. You're very blessed. This is a rizq, okay? But they're rare. And another thing that covert envious people do is show you that they are uncomfortable with your wins. Okay, so when something great happens to you, they don't celebrate you. They are slow to respond. And even if they like a post that you've created about something, they might like it, but they won't comment. And again, you know that they've seen it, but they've chosen not to respond. And if you happen to tell someone who is a covert some good news, for example, you got engaged, or you're pregnant, or you've just bought a new car, you've just got the keys to a new house, or you've won your court case, or you've just got your divorce that you've been waiting to come through for a long time, notice that their facial expression quickly drops, even if it's for a second. If it drops the moment you tell them your good news, know that they are secret haters. Okay, these are people who are envious of you. They don't want to see you happy. They don't want to see you win. And their face just changes, and then they quickly remember and they fake the smile and be like, oh wow, that's amazing. They give you a hug, congratulations, brother. But the initial reaction, always look at someone's face when you tell them good news. The face will immediately react to the news. People who are genuinely happy for you, they just beam and their energy is good. It's infectious, right? You can tell they're so happy for you genuinely because they know how long you've waited for this good news. But when someone is envious of you and they don't want you to get what you pray for, they don't want you to get it before them, because when you get it before them, you make them feel that they're not deserving of what they've prayed for, because they might believe that you are more special to Allah and that Allah favors you more. So He's answered your dua and not theirs. If they have this internal belief and this internal envy, I promise you, their face will drop. And it's a reflex reaction because of their envy. And if it doesn't drop, the side of their mouth will twitch. They get a twitch in their face. And again, it's gone in a flash, but you'll notice it. And this is a sign for you to not tell them your good news ever again. You have to abstain from sharing good news with people who react like this. They don't say mashallah or Allahumma barik. Okay, they don't say it, or they're not quick to say it, or they say it in a way that sounds fake because they don't look happy when they're saying it. And it's almost like they're forcing themselves to say it so that you don't suspect them of being envious of you. So when it's fake, you will feel very uncomfortable. You will feel something is really wrong, like an energy's hit you from that person. And you will immediately regret telling that person the good news. That's the first thing that will come into your mind. Why did I tell or show them that? And on the other hand, there are people who can't hide it at all. So you'll see an evil glare from their eyes when they hear your good news. Or they will go into a rage. They might even start crying They might do something so abnormal, like jumping up and down and slapping themselves and screaming and smashing furniture. Again, this could be a family member, could be a friend, could be a husband, a wife. And they act in such a bizarre way and in such a toxic way that, unfortunately, if you are subjected to this, it is highly likely that you've been hit with hasad. Okay, and you need to do ruqya immediately, because this comes from deep envy and it's bubbled up in them so much that they aren't able to retain it anymore. So they have to let it out in such a toxic way. And some people might do this by sabotaging your great moments. Could be your wedding day, your graduation day, could be your birthday, it could be Eid, or maybe an award ceremony. Okay, they will sabotage those events for you because they see you very happy when they're unhappy. Remember, narcissistic people hate themselves. And they will sabotage them as well because you've managed to achieve something they haven't. And they want everything to be about them. They hate the spotlight being on you. So they have to distract everyone from that by creating a drama, by creating a problem. They might even pretend to fall down the stairs just to get some attention. They might fake fainting. They might disappear on that day. And it causes everyone to worry about what happened to them. They might decide to break some terrible news that day, like they want a divorce. But it's your graduation day. Why on earth are they bringing up a divorce on that special day? It's to ruin it for you. Because they are jealous of your achievements. They're jealous that you are working towards your goals and your dreams, and they're stuck where they are. They don't want you to be better than them. So there are people who will show you in obvious ways that they really hate your good news. And these will be covert people, but because of how much envy they have within them, they now become overt because they haven't been able to contain it anymore. Overt people are those who don't want to hide anything. What you see is what you get with them. So if they're jealous of you, it's going to be very clear. They're going to make it known that they don't like you. But when a covert has been pretending for such a long time that they like you and that they're your friend and you can trust them, eventually this envy is going to catch up with them and they're going to explode. And they will explode in such a shocking way, and it will dawn on you that day that this person never liked you. And you might even hear some serious verbal abuse. You know, they might scream at you, shout at you. If you're asking them what the hell is wrong with them, why are they reacting in such a toxic way, their jealousy will come out in an outburst. And they'll scream and they'll say things like, I hate you, I've always hated you. Why is it that you get everything you want? You think you're so great and you think you're so special. Oh, look at you getting married. Oh, look at you graduating. Look at you getting a promotion. And I'm better looking than you. I should have married that person. I should have got that job. I should have got this. I should have got that. And you don't even wear hijab. How does Allah love you more than me? I've worn niqab all my life. I've done this all my life. And you're just a kafira like everyone else. And if it's your sibling, they might scream things like, oh, mum always loved you the most. And she's always treated you better than me. You've always been the golden child with dad. You've always received more money. And you always think you're better than everyone. You always think you're the best looking person in this family, when actually you're the ugliest person in this family. And I've only ever helped you because I took pity on you because you're pathetic and you're this and you're that. Right? They go into this crazy rage, and then they'll go on to things like, I hate Islam, I hate everyone, I hate God, I hate everything about my life, and I hate you, I never want to see you again, never want to speak to you again. And everyone's like, what in God's name have we just witnessed here? And it'll be your wedding day, right? It'll be your graduation day. It'll be Eid morning. And they'll do something like that. And sometimes, if it's your wedding day and you've entrusted them to do something important, like bring the rings, bring your wedding dress, bring the cake, it'll be something significant, they don't bring it. And they delay your whole wedding, or they do something to ruin the wedding, or an engagement party, or a baby shower. You'll see them do strange things when they're not happy for you. Like you might have a gender reveal party for a baby and they know that you really wanted a girl and they're hoping it's a boy because they don't want to see you super happy. So when that balloon pops and it's a girl and you look at their face, it looks like it's been hit by lightning. So if you ever see any of these reactions, you need to keep repeating to yourself, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, until you calm down as well. Because if they go into a rage like this, especially if they start shouting things like, I wish you were dead, I wish mum never had you, and that you were killed in that car accident you had the other day, it can get that deep and they will start shouting things that are so hurtful. In that moment, their qareen has overtaken them. That's why you see the demon coming out from them. You see the demon in their eyes. Their qareen in that moment has completely taken over. Just keep repeating, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, until they calm down and you calm down. Because when someone has that much envy and they wish death upon you, it can be serious. Okay, when they wish for an illness to fall upon you, it can be serious. And you will only be protected if you had protected yourself with your adhkar that morning. And because the majority of people do not read their adhkar and they do not take the subject of the evil eye seriously, many people will be negatively affected by the outbursts of these people. Jabir radiallahu anhu reported that the Prophet ﷺ said, جل من يموت من أمتي بعد قضاء الله وكتابه وقدره بالأنفس يعني بالعين. A great many from my ummah who die after the judgment of Allah and the divine decree and the protection of Allah die by the evil eye. Okay, there are many people who will develop cancer from the evil eye and other terminal illnesses, and sometimes these illnesses can lead to death. And sometimes the death of someone happens suddenly. Okay, sometimes an illness befalls someone very suddenly. I know someone who woke up one morning and she had no hair. All her hair was found on her pillow because someone the previous night at a wedding had given her terrible ain on her hair. And she literally woke up finding clumps of it on her pillow in the morning. It's not a joke. It's not a joke. So protect yourselves by saying A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim until you feel better after that rage episode or that verbal outburst. Another thing covert people do is when you achieve something or you get some really good news, they will either belittle it, question it, or ignore it. So when they belittle it, it's because they can't handle the scale of this achievement. They don't like this good news, so they have to belittle it to make themselves feel better. Like, oh, okay, great, mabruk, I'm glad that's happened for you. Right, so what are we going to have for lunch? Okay, that's how they belittle it. They change the subject quickly. They don't like to spend too much time talking about this good news or this achievement. And if they question it, it's because deep down, they want to know why you're more deserving of it than them. So they'll say something like, I can't believe that he gave you the promotion when I've been working overtime and I got employee of the month last month. Like, why is it that you got the promotion and I didn't? And they cause a problem. They get upset. And then they might even go to the employer and complain about it because they're upset that you got it and they didn't. And it's because they don't believe you deserve it. You didn't do the overtime and you didn't get the award of Employee of the Month. Right? So they're thinking, well, how did they get it then? They don't want to believe that it's because you have a better character, better drive, a better work ethic than them. So they demand answers. And sometimes it can be in relation to marriage. Okay, a man might propose to a woman and she rejects him. But his friend proposes to her and she says yes. And because of his envy towards the friend, he's now questioning him. Why did she accept you and not me? I demand to know why I was rejected. You're not as wealthy as me. You're not as good looking as me. Why am I the one who's rejected? Okay, that's another example. And it can be vice versa. So a woman might get really upset that the man who she really liked didn't propose to her, but he proposed to her sister. So she demands to know why he preferred her sister when she believes she's more beautiful and smarter and more elegant and all of that. So when they question your rizq, know that they have a deep envy towards you getting that. And then they will ignore you because they wish it was their achievement. So they don't want to celebrate you having the achievement they wanted. They want to celebrate it for themselves, so they will ignore it altogether. Okay? One thing I've noticed as well with people who are secret haters is they come to you with all their problems. They come to you seeking so much advice. They come to you seeking the supply they need from you. It could be anything, right? It could be legal advice, marriage advice, friendship advice, money. They need loans. They come to you and they burden you with all their issues that you don't even like listening to because it's all complaints, moaning, and them constantly needing things and validation and reassurance and help. But when you ask them to do something for you in return, something very basic, because they've told you that they like you and they like your work and they love your products and they love this, they love that, you ask them, well, if you love my work, if you love my products, if you love what I've done for you, would you write a review for me? Could you do this for me or do that for me? It would really help me out. They don't. They ignore you. Weeks will go by. You might remind them a few times. Hey, just checking in. Do you mind writing that review for me? Yeah, inshallah, I'll do it. But they don't. That person is a secret hater. Okay, because again, the people who love you will jump straight onto it. There's no problem. It's not going to take 5 minutes of their time to do something very simple that you're asking of them in return for dealing with all their rubbish. So cut those people off. I've cut so many people off in my life like that. And wallahi, the peace you get afterwards is bliss. You don't have to deal with fake people anymore. Dealing with fake people will drain you so badly, and it's not worth it. And another reason why a lot of people won't post reviews for you and they won't support you is because they're not getting that in their own work, and they want to humble you. Okay, they don't want to big you up. They don't want people to know what you think of them, because that's not what they really think of you. So if they write a review, they know they're being fake, so they'd rather stay silent and not say anything good about you than write a fake review, even if your work has helped them. Even if what you've done, your advice, your mediation, whatever it is that you've done for that person, if you've helped them and they've benefited, but they don't like you, they will really struggle writing a good review for you because they are envious of who you are as a person. They wish they could be you. I promise you, they wish they could be you. So cut those people off. You don't need them. And you'll find that these people as well are very quick to criticize and advise you. They're always advising you, sticking their nose in your business. And there's no Islamic etiquette when it comes to that. So someone who doesn't like you does not approach advice in a empathic and good way. So for example, these are people who don't want to support you. They don't want to show any love, but they are benefiting from you greatly. And that's why they're on your page. That's why they're in your life. That's why they want to be a part of your friendship circle. They don't do any of those things, but when you make a mistake, they are very quick to jump in, to correct you, criticize you, and be very condescending and patronizing about the mistake you've made. There's no Assalamu alaikum. There's no Jazakallah khair for what you've done for me. The money you loaned me really helped me. The advice you gave me really affected my marriage the other day very positively. Thank you for giving me a listening ear. I felt better after my conversation with you. You're a really good friend. Jazakallah khair. There's just something I noticed the other day and I just wanted to kindly correct you on it because I love you and I want the best for you. And then they tell you what the problem is. This is the correct way of advising someone in Islam. You don't just jump into criticism You have to acknowledge the good that they've done first, and then you go into the issue. So when people jump straight into the issue, but they don't do that in a positive way to support you, these are secret haters. They're just waiting for a moment to criticize you. They are waiting for the day when they can jump in and say, hey, you are wrong. That's not what happened. This is what happened. And then they give you a long lecture about it. Okay? It's like, subhanallah, you have time now to give me a long lecture like this that's taken you a good hour and a half. But you can't write me a 5-minute review? Funny that. Trust me, I've been through this many times. I know. I can't tell you how many people I've blocked and deleted in my life. You'll be shocked to see how many prisoners I have in my block list. And they've all been sentenced to stay in there for life. And you know, they always comment on the stupidest and pettiest things, because if it was something that they were correcting you on that was serious, for example, a mistake you made in a hadith or a Quran verse, it's understandable, right? It's good of them to be correcting you on something that's considered to be important. But when they're correcting you on your own opinion, because they don't like it and they don't agree, then they can absolutely do one, because it's the only thing they ever do say to you when they're not moaning and complaining about all their life problems to you. Okay, you're entitled to your own opinion. If people don't agree, they don't agree, it's fine. But don't pop up like a ifrit from the desert without even assalamu alaikum to give advice, because you'll be dismissed. You'll be blocked and you'll be deleted. You know, these haters, they itch to say something when they see something they don't like. And it's the only time they'll actually have a voice and say something. They'll go for years lurking on your account, but you say that one thing that irritates them and they'll jump straight into the problem. Block and delete these people. Don't even respond. Seriously, don't even respond. Don't give them the time of day. If someone is rude like that on your page, if someone is not polite when they come to advise you, they're a secret hater, get rid of them. And if they're your family members, then just create boundaries and don't let these comments affect you, okay? Because you already know that they have issues with you. So when you learn how to create healthy boundaries, then, you know, you're not having to cut them off, but at the same time, you're not allowing these comments that are so irritating to affect you, because they never say anything good, but they're quick to say something bad and to criticize you. Because complimenting you and supporting you chokes them. They can't do it. It makes them feel physically sick. Okay, I want you to notice the next time you suspect someone doesn't like you, I want you to notice how they don't compliment you, or very rarely compliment you, or their compliments come very delayed. So for example, you might be going to a wedding and you've really glammed up, and they look at you and they know you look really good, but they won't say anything. You might cook them a really nice meal. They know you've made the effort to do it and you know it tastes really good. They don't say a word. Or you've graduated or you've received an award and it takes them ages to talk about it. Okay, it's because they're finding it really difficult to acknowledge this wonderful thing about you. They're jealous. They hate how good you look and that you're better looking than them. They hate that you're a good cook. They hate that you do things so well and that it's your graduation, that it's your wedding day. You know, they're very slow to compliment you. Even if they see you in your wedding dress, they might just smile without saying a word. They won't even say a mashallah. They'll just look at you and be like, yeah, cool, nod their head. Thumbs up, right? The famous thumbs up of the narcissist. You give them good news over WhatsApp and you get the yellow thumbs up. Or you might get good, dot, or great, dot. It's what they're like because they can't stand it. Absolutely can't stand it. So you're wondering, you know, you haven't complimented me, you haven't told me what you think of my look, what do you think of my dress, what do you think of my new car, what do you think of my new house? You know, you might be showing your friends the new BMW you've bought and they're like, You could have got a better colour, akhi. You know, you could have got a 24 plate. Why did you get a 21 plate? Get a 24. Why did you get red leather and not beige leather? Why did you get those alloys? Why did you get a diesel? Why this and why that? They'll pick on everything so that they don't need to compliment you in the way you'd like to be complimented. Okay? Even if you show them a house, yeah, you could have done better. I don't really like the area. I don't really like how small the living room is. I don't really like the garden. I don't like this. I don't like that. And you're like, oh, okay. Well, I really love it. My wife really loves it. And, you know, I'm excited to move in. It's like, yeah. Congrats, akhi. May Allah place barakah in it for you. It's all fake. You can tell when it's fake. They're envious that you managed to buy yourself a house and they're still stuck in mummy's house. You know, they don't like it. Be careful who you show your blessings to, because they will deflate you as a result of their envy. You'll be so excited to show them something, but their reaction is so cold and it's so dead that it deflates you as well. You're like, oh, okay, well, I like it. You know, I love this car. I love this house. I love this. I love that. But anyways, okay, thanks. Thanks for your input. And then you just feel a bit, after that. That's the whole point. It's an indication, it's a sign for you that you need to really start avoiding this person. And this can be confirmed that they are an envious person if you go to a wedding, for example, and your friend hasn't complimented how you look, but she's complimenting how everyone else looks. Wow, look at that man over there. He's so well dressed. Look at that woman's dress. Look at her makeup. Isn't it amazing? Hasn't she done her hair really well? And this and that and this and that. And it's like, okay, subhanAllah. So you can compliment people, but you don't want to compliment me. Interesting. And then when it comes to men, you know, you might see someone else buy a new car, and the same friend who envied you will be very excited for that person to be buying a new car, even though it's not as nice as your car. It might be an older car, a different brand, but they'll make a big deal of, yeah, let's go for a drive, let's do this, let's do that. I love your alloys, I love your seats. And you're thinking, huh? The car is an older car than mine. You didn't get excited over my car, you're getting excited over this guy's car, because the other guy isn't envied by him. And they might envy you because you're loved by people. You're someone known in the community, everyone likes you, everyone respects you, you're a hard worker, you've achieved things. So when you manage to earn a nice car, they don't like to acknowledge the fact that it's because you're such a hard worker and you've put in the graft to get what you want. They're lazy, right? They're bums, they can't do that. So when they see someone else get a car easily, they're more likely to compliment them because those other guys didn't really work hard to get the car. Maybe his dad bought him the car. Maybe he got an inheritance and as a result got the car. So if he sees that the other guy who he complimented got the car easily without all that hard work, he'll be more likely to compliment him than to compliment you because you got it, because you earned it, and they don't like that. It's easier for people to envy those who earn what they have rather than just be given those things. Now, you do get the people who are envied for having things that are given to them as well, especially when those things come easily to them. So again, it could be an inheritance, it could be business shares, it could be a promotion at work. So people might think, I'm grafting, I'm working so hard, and I'm working day and night to make ends meet and make this business a success. But I can't make the same money that guy makes, and he gets it so easily. He gets it handed to him on a golden plate. You get those types as well. Okay? There are people who will get money very easily with minimal effort because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants them to have that money. If you're working overtime and you are literally drained from how much work and effort you're putting into your business, and maybe in overtime to get a promotion, but you're not getting the promotion and you're not making profits and you're not earning that much, know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has limited your rizq. He's capped it at a certain amount because you haven't unlocked the secret to the rizq. Maybe you're not praying. Maybe you're not good to your parents. Okay? Maybe you're not good to your spouse. Rizq can also be capped as a result of your sins. Maybe I'll do another podcast, inshallah, about that. But that can be the reason. But you're envying people who get money easily because they're good with their family members. They're good with their kids. They're good with the community. Allah opens the doors of rizq. So you're envying someone for something you're not even doing to get that rizq. Okay? So I wanted to make that clear because you will be envied for things that aren't even in your control. Allah has decided to give you an abundance of rizq because of who you are as a person. And people envy you for that. It's like, yeah, I don't have any control over this. This is what Allah's given me. I can't tell you what the secrets are because I don't know what they are. I just make money easily. But he will struggle to accept it. And he will always believe that, life is unfair. Always moaning about life being so unfair. I never get what I want. I'm not going to bother. I'm just going to get into drugs. I'm going to sell drugs because it's the quickest way to make money. This is one of the sins that comes as a result of you not accepting the divine decree. You start looking at haram avenues to make money because you're so desperate to have it. Allah has capped it for you for a reason. Okay, so you'll get friends like that. You'll also find that envious people don't have any real interest in your interests. Okay, you might have passions, hobbies. They have no interest, but they need to stay in your life to extract your secrets. And sometimes when they extract your secrets, they go telling other people about them. So you might have told them something in confidence, but because it's juicy news, right, it's juicy information, they have to pass it on so that they can tarnish the way people look at you. So again, be careful what you share with people. Don't be one of those people pleasers who overshare so that you make people comfortable being around you, so that people know that you're going through hardships as well. There's no need for any of that. You can listen and you can give information in accordance to what you're comfortable with, rather than what you feel like you need to now say to this person who has spilled all their secrets all over you. And always remember that these are people who really hate that you don't have the same hardships as them. And they look at you as someone arrogant sometimes because you don't suffer with iman issues. You don't suffer with health problems like they have. You don't suffer with having to deal with a narcissist and co-parent, like I said before. They will envy you and they'll believe that you're someone arrogant because you're happy and you're moving on with your life and you've dealt with your traumas. And if they see you healing and you're doing the inner work to heal and move on and improve yourself, they're not comfortable with that. They don't like it because they are comfortable seeing you unhealed like they are. You trigger them when you heal. You trigger them when you improve and you get out of old habits and toxic ways of being. You change your environment. You're doing things to improve in your deen, improve in your character. You're going to counselling, therapy. You're going to lectures. You are studying more. You are pursuing a business. You're doing different things. They're noticing this. And because they're not ready to do the inner work, you're triggering them. And they might belittle your healing work, okay, because they're threatened by it. And they might tell you, you've changed. You're not the same person. You've become arrogant. You've become very full of yourself. And if they don't say that to your face, I promise you, that's what they're going to be telling other people. She's so arrogant. She's full of herself. Who does she think she is? She thinks she's better than me. And in reality, they believe you're better than them because you're actually doing the work to get better. So, when you trigger people, you're going to see and feel bad energy from them. Okay? When you're around somebody who envies you, one of the signs of it is that you will get drained very quickly. You'll feel very tired around them, very drained, very heavy. You just get really sleepy. And you almost can't wait for them to leave so that you can just knock out on the sofa and just spend the evening in complete silence. And you don't understand why you feel so drained and so tired and depleted. That's the energy of envy, because it takes from you. So you feel depleted by the time you part ways. Okay, but it's a sign, it's a major sign someone envies you. Because when you're around people who don't envy you, you'll feel energized. You love being around them. You could spend a whole day with them and still feel like you've got so much energy. But when you're around someone who's secretly jealous of you or envious, you're going to feel very tired. So listen to your body when it comes to assessing people. Some people ask me, how do I know if my feelings towards people are from the shaitan, the qareen, or from the true divine intuition? And the answer to that is your divine intuition will communicate via your body. So when you feel tired and depleted, this is your body, your nafs telling you, I don't like to be around this person. I am so tired around this person. And when you feel energized and happy, then your nafs likes to be around that person. Your soul likes to be around that person. When it's the waswas from the shaitan, you get confused. So you will feel energized around that person, but you'll get intrusive thoughts. That's when you know it's from the shaitan. Okay? So your body will always tell you the truth. And also, if you've noticed on a few occasions that there's something off about someone and you feel tired when you're around them, that's confirmation this person is envious of you. But if you've been in the presence of this person many times and you've always felt good around them, but you get intrusive thoughts, then just say A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim and get rid of them. Okay, because the shaitan wants to sabotage your good relationships with other empaths. Alright, so whenever you're in doubt, just read your adhkar or say A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim and make a quick dua that Allah makes it clear to you if this person is good for you or not, and you'll resume feeling great around this person and energized. Okay, so anytime you get intrusive thoughts and you want to know if it's your intuition or the shaitan, say A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, say it 3 times and then see how you feel around that person after that. And, as a follow-up note to this, I want to tell you that it's really important for you to be very picky about who enters your private space. Okay, there are some people who envy you and hate you, and they want to enter your private space, like your home, to see how you live. And when they come to see how you live, and it's a peaceful life, it's a beautiful life, it's a life they don't have, they're going to envy that as well. They bring bad omen into your home. So not only are you affected now, your home will be affected. If you have a wonderful environment, wonderful neighbours, you live with wonderful family members, they will envy that too, especially if they come from a toxic home. Be very picky who you allow into your home. I can't say this enough, okay? Because there are people who will envy your peace. There are people who will envy your simplicity. There are people who will envy the kind of lifestyle you have because they wish they had it, but for some reason they aren't able to achieve it. Okay, protect your home as much as possible and don't feel guilty or obliged to invite people into your home because they want to see it or they want to spend time with you there. If you're not comfortable with it, if you feel like you need to protect yourself and your home, then do it. Okay, you might have a great time with them outside the home, but I can't stress on this enough. If people come with envy or they have spiritual problems like jinn possession, they can bring that jinn into your home. Be very careful. I will do another podcast about this, okay? Because it is important, but I want to stress on that fact. If you know a friend or a distant relative or someone has a jinn possession problem and you invite them into your home, that jinn can come with them. So if you're not comfortable, just meet them outside of the home and always remember to read your adhkar, especially when you know someone has spiritual problems and especially when you know someone is envious of you. So for example, you can't avoid that person because that person is your sister or your brother or your parent, okay? So if these people are unavoidable, then at least read your adhkar. And another thing you might notice is that they won't recommend good people to you for marriage, especially if they know lots of people. They will match loads of other people up, but not you. And if they do match you up with someone, it's going to be their Uncle Ahmed, who has jinn possession. He's got weed addiction. He's unemployed. He is someone they want to get rid of from the family home. Okay? They will sugarcoat him and they will present him as being a wonderful person. You're my friend, you're my sister, I've known you for a long time. Why don't you marry my brother? Why don't you marry my uncle? But they know that that brother is a disaster on legs. They know that uncle is going to find it really hard to get married if they don't sugarcoat all his issues. So they do that. They present you with people who are not good for you, but they encourage you to marry them. A lot of reverts go through this, and a lot of women who are naive go through this. And they end up marrying people who are very abusive, and the women who recommended those men to them know these men are problematic and abusive. But it's because they envy you and they don't want to see you do better. They don't want to see you have a successful, loving marriage, so they recommend problematic people. And they save the good people for themselves and their narc friends. Okay, I've noticed this a lot. The good people are always saved for their own kind. And even if someone good is interested in an empathic woman or vice versa, they will tell them things about you that puts them off you behind your back, because they get jealous that they're interested in you and not in them or the other people who they've recommended. They like to see you miserable. Okay, even if it's not marriage, it could be a great opportunity, a job opportunity, or an opportunity to move abroad, to pursue a greater career, or an opportunity to go for Hajj or Umrah. They don't want you to have those opportunities and they will sabotage them behind your back. Okay, so they don't like to see you do well in life and do better. And you'll also notice as well that if they are envious of the husband or wife you have, every time they're around your spouse, or it could be the person you're getting to know for marriage, they really dress up. Or they insist on coming with you to meet someone. They say that, I can assess him for you, I can assess her for you. And they come dressed in their best. And it's because they like the person whom you're with, or they want to win the attention of the person whom you are interested in. Okay, because they secretly want to be with that person. So every time that person is around, you will notice that if they know your partner is going to be there, they are overly friendly and they dress up very well. And this takes me on to something else. If they go to events where they know there are going to be a lot of single people, or it could be a business networking event that could be great for your business, they won't tell you. Okay, it could be a marriage event, or a Eid party, or a gathering for singles. It could be anything like that. They won't tell you because they know that if you were to go, you might actually find someone great and they're threatened by that. Or if they are single as well, they don't want you to catch the eye of the people whom they're interested in. So you're now a threat. So they don't take you to good events where there could be good opportunities for you. And perhaps you might go to a business event and you might get the attention of an investor who's interested in your business. They know there are going to be investors at this event, and they know that you're looking for an investor for your business, but they won't tell you about this event. They will hide opportunities from you, and you'll find out later that they attended these events but never wanted to take you with them. That's another sign that they're envious of you and they perceive you as competition. And sometimes the event can be an Islamic one where you can benefit from, having knowledge about Islam or a specific subject. It could be a life coaching event. Because they don't want you to improve in anything, they don't invite you to go with them. Okay, they want to go on their own, or they want to take their narc friends with them, or the people whom they're not threatened by, their other codependent friends, and go to these events because they don't want to see you advance. So anything that's going to improve your character and your deen, they're not going to tell you about those opportunities so that you remain as you are. They want the knowledge for themselves and the opportunities for themselves only. Because remember, these people, they feel relief when they see your iman low at times. And they might know that there's going to be a great lecture coming up. Maybe there's a preacher on tour or a scholar on tour. And they know that you could really do with an iman boost, but they still won't tell you about the event. So when they see that your iman has hit an all-time low, or you're suffering from something, they're secretly happy because they feel better about themselves when they see that your iman is as low as theirs temporarily. And they know it's temporary. That's why they hate you for it. They know that you're going to bounce back and get better. So they don't want to play a hand in that. You see, when their iman is low, it's low for very long periods of time. Whereas with you, it's very short and you bounce back and you get back to normal and you continue life as you should. Because they don't have the ability to do that, they wallow in self-pity for ages. They grieve for ages. They cry for ages over all of their issues. It's very difficult to get them out of that deep pit and, have them elevate in a higher status of iman. Because they're not doing the work to get them there themselves. This is the inner work that you need to do. This is the jihad and nafs. So they will envy you for being able to get yourself out of a pit without the help of other people and resume your life. So always remember that these people will not include you in their good moments, but they will run to you when they have calamities and hardships because they know that you're going to listen and help and support them. But when they have parties, they don't tell you. When they come into lots of money, they don't tell you. When they want to go and buy lots of gifts for people, they will spend lavishly on others, but not you. This is a sign that they envy you. Okay? When you see people going out of their way to buy gifts for others, but they don't do it for you, especially when you achieve something, you graduate, you get married, they'll either give you something very simple in comparison to what they do and get for others, or they don't get you anything at all and they'll delay it until you forget about it. Okay, this is a sign, a major sign. So they will be happy to always contact you when they are miserable, but in their good moments they do not remember you. So they might hold gatherings in their home, parties, they might have an engagement party or a henna party for their sister, before she gets married, and they don't invite you. Okay, you're not included in their good plans because you are the person they only need in their darkest days, because you are the only one who is willing to be their dumping ground for all their issues. That's why I tell you, stop being a dumping ground for people's problems, especially when you see that they don't include you in their good times. Okay? So this comes as a result of them having to always fake being like you because they're not being authentic. They can't be their authentic self around you, because if you saw how dark they are inside and insecure and how much they dislike you, you'd never want to be around them. So you see the fake version of them. It's the false self. Codependents have this as well when they are benefiting from someone. So they struggle being authentic when they're around you, and they can only be authentic around the friends who are very similar to them in character. And that's why when you look at their social media and you see the pictures and videos of them with their other friends, they're completely different people. Okay, they're not the people you hang out with or who you see. They're different. And it's because they can relax with their own kind. They can relax with other codependents, people who they're not threatened by, or they can relax with other narcissists like themselves. Okay, so they hate that they can't be authentic around you because they're threatened by your presence and your character and also your confidence. Okay, I'm telling you, they would love nothing more than to discover that you're an undercover narcissist or something, because the fact that you are an empath who is consistent in their empathic traits, it really irritates them. It really, really bothers them that underneath all that good, you're still a good person inside. They want to believe that under all that good, you're actually someone fake like they are. You're someone dark inside like they are. And they hang around to see that. They hang around for the day when they get to see that side of you that doesn't exist. And nothing annoys them more than finding out that it doesn't exist. Okay, again, you trigger them because you force them to self-reflect. Now, another thing that these people will do, especially when you're married to them, is they'll betray you. Okay? Someone who is a covert, envious person will betray you. Whether that's a wife betraying her husband, a husband betraying his wife, your friends betraying you by exposing your secrets to other people, your parents betraying you, whoever. Betrayal is a huge sign that people do not like you and they envy you. Okay, because they want to see your life be destroyed by that betrayal. They're going behind your back, pretending that they're loyal people, but in reality, they are doing what harms you. So betrayal is a huge indicator that you are around someone who isn't safe at all for you to be around. Okay? Only people who hate you will cheat on you. I'm telling you, I'll say it again. Only people who hate you, disrespect you, and are envious of you will cheat on you. Because they want to bring you down in any way possible, and they know that the hurt and the pain that you will feel from a betrayal will bring your self-esteem down, and that's what they want to see to make themselves feel better. Okay? Now, if you go and tell a so-called friend about your husband cheating on you, and she says something like, "Oh, show me the picture of the woman he's cheated on you with," and you're devastated, right? You're hurt, you're upset, and you show her maybe the social media page of the woman who he took as a secret second wife, or he's actually having a haram relationship with her. She will look at the picture and her videos and whatever, and she will be like, "Wow, she's super beautiful. She's super hot." She will rub it in your face even more. She's like, "What? I'm just being honest. I'm not going to lie. She is really beautiful." So she will add salt to the wound because she's envious of you as well. A good friend will never do that. It goes for men too. Sometimes a man will show another man who his wife cheated on him with, and the guy's like, "Bro, the guy is really good looking. The guy, look at his muscles. Look at that watch. He's wearing a Rolex. He must be minted." It doesn't make you feel better because it's an opportunity for the envious friend to add salt to the wound. Okay, so if you're sharing painful news and they're making it worse, and they know they're making it worse, get rid of that person from your life, especially if they're not a family member. If they're a family member, distance yourself from them and have very strong boundaries between you and them. Okay, it's really important that you do that because it's in these situations and moments where you discover who your real friends are and who the family members who are supportive of you are. And another sign that someone is envious of you, I've mentioned it before, but I'll mention it again, is when they copy everything you do. Okay? They will dress like you, do their hair like you, wear the same kind of clothes as you, and even get exactly the same kind of cat as you. Okay, they want to do everything that's the same so that they become like you. The song that just entered my head is "I Want to Be Like You," the one that King Louis sings in the Jungle Book. That's what they want to do. They want to be just like you. And he was asking Mowgli to teach him the secrets of humans so that he could be just like them.
I want to be like you. I want to walk like you, talk like
Just wanted to insert that for you just to lighten the mood a little bit. So, yeah, they love to copy everything you do. And I'll give you a funny example from a story of a friend of mine who had a mother-in-law. I say had, she no longer has this mother-in-law, who went on her honeymoon with her and her husband because she was so jealous that her son, who was a mummy's boy, was taking his wife on this exotic, Caribbean cruise. And she really wanted to go. And she made such a big fuss over, her daughter-in-law not wanting her to go. And she cried and she got ill for days. So if you think the cookie story I told you in my last podcast was funny or bizarre, you haven't heard anything yet. You haven't heard the stories I've been hearing about envious mother-in-laws who do crazy things like this. And she's not the only one. I've heard it on multiple occasions where the mother-in-law wants to go on honeymoon with her son and his wife. And she'll kick up such a fuss, and because he's a mummy's boy, he will somehow manage to convince his wife that, they should take his mum. So, yeah, that would definitely be a deal breaker for me, but it happens, right? It happens because of the envy. And sometimes mother-in-laws as well, they will demand that their sons buy them the same gifts that they give to their wives. So if she hears that he's brought his wife flowers, she wants the same flowers. If she hears that her son has bought his wife a new watch or a new handbag, she wants that too. Right? She's so envious that this daughter-in-law is getting all these wonderful things from her special little boy, and she can't take it. She wants to be Queen Bee, and Queen Bee must have the same, if not better, than the daughter-in-law. So when you see people who want exactly the same things as you as well, and they feel entitled to them and demand them, then know that this person has severe jealousy. Okay? I'm telling you, I hear the craziest things. And there are people who live these lives, subhanAllah. I don't know how you guys do it. But yeah, it did make me laugh when she told me about the dramas that happened on that honeymoon because of his mother being around, and the embarrassment that they faced when people on the cruise asked them who this lady was who had joined them on their honeymoon. So naturally, people would be horrified to discover that the guy has brought his mum. So yeah, that's the extent some people can go to. And, another thing mother-in-laws can do is if they're envious of their daughter-in-laws, they might belittle their beauty. They might say things like, oh, his ex-wife was very beautiful. Or she might tell you that he had other options besides you. And she might even show you their pictures to show you how pretty they are. And you might even be very attractive, okay? You might be more attractive than the ex-wife and all the other options he had. But because she's jealous of you, she will do whatever it takes to hurt you. So she will bring out an album of all these women's pictures, mashallah, that she's kept under her pillow to show you one day. Okay, so she can use it against you to make you feel less than and to knock your self-esteem. So, they do sneaky things like that, but it indicates that they do have a jealousy towards you because you've taken away their precious baby. And this precious baby actually likes you a lot. And they didn't expect that. And she can see that, he's prioritizing you and he's looking after you. And she's got to think of different ways of belittling you. Like she will criticize your cooking, the way you dress, the way you do your hair, the way you behave, your etiquettes at home. She will nitpick on everything because she's so annoyed that you've actually got a very special place in her son's heart, and she didn't see that coming. She thought that you would be someone she could control, but that wasn't the case. So she will do petty things like that and bring out the pictures of these women like she's bringing out a deck of poker cards that she's about to shuffle like a pro and lay them all out in front of you on the table to have a look at. So yes, strong boundaries are a must here, okay? And if someone is really envious, and I mean like it's bad, the envy runs so deep, these people can unfortunately do black magic on you. Okay, they'll go to a magician and they can resort to doing something so disgusting like this to ruin your life and take away your blessings. Okay, because black magic can take away your health, and if that happens, it will affect every other area of your life. It's going to affect your marriage, your work, and whatever it is that you do. So yeah, I will end it there with the examples, but if you have any more, feel free to drop them in the comments below, and yeah, it'll be interesting to see what people say. But I've given you a very comprehensive list so you can see what resonates with you and apply it to your own situation. But unfortunately, it is what it is, and these are signs that we really have to be wary of, because of the symptoms we are going to feel if we are hit with the evil eye. I will list the symptoms now of evil eye, so you can identify if you have it, okay? It's important for you to know whether you have it or not, because you need to cleanse your spiritual system from it. So the symptoms are headaches that move from one part of the head to the other, a yellow colour in the face, crying during the recitation of Surah Al-Baqarah or during listening to Surah Al-Baqarah, and crying easily in general, excessive sweating, a weak appetite, tingling in the fingers and the feet, feeling heat or cold in the limbs, palpitations in the heart, pain in the lower back and shoulders, sadness and anxiety all the time, sleeplessness at night, strong reactions due to abnormal fears. So for example, if you're scared of spiders, then you will overreact to the fear you feel when you see one. Excessive burping, excessive yawning and sighing, especially when you're reading Quran and when you're praying. So if you get very sleepy early on when you're reading Quran, that's a sign that you might have the evil eye, okay? Withdrawal and love of solitude, so you don't like to be around people at all. Extreme fatigue, exhaustion, heaviness and laziness. So this can cause you to be out of breath very quickly as well. So the activities that you normally find okay to do are exhausting to do when you have the evil eye. So you might lose your breath very quick, even if you're quite a fit person. But walking up the same hill you walk up every day is a challenge when you have the evil eye. And the heaviness that you might feel is usually felt in the morning. So it's almost like you weigh 200 kilos and you can't get out of bed. It's really hard to get out of bed in the morning. It's like you've been hit by a bus. That heaviness, sometimes you get muscle ache, but the extreme tiredness, even if you sleep a good 8 hours straight, you still wake up very tired. That's a sign of evil eye. And you'll feel very lazy as well. You'll have no motivation to do anything. So you might be a hard worker, you've got loads of drive, you've got loads of passion, but when you've been hit with the evil eye, you don't feel like doing anything. You can't bring yourself to do anything. That laziness and procrastination is a sign that you've been hit with something. And this can lead to you struggling with your prayers and missing Fajr a lot. If you have the evil eye from someone who is envious of your faith, your salah can be affected, especially the Fajr prayer. You will really struggle to wake up and pray, even if you set 4 alarms. Okay, even if you used to get up so easily. When you have the evil eye, Fajr becomes a challenge, and sometimes so do the other prayers too. You will find yourself going for days and weeks without reading Quran. You will find yourself being unable to wake up for tahajjud and doing the voluntary fasts that you used to do. So this is when you know someone is envious of your religious character and your commitment to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Another symptom is gut issues. So if you're experiencing lots of stomach issues, that's also a sign of evil eye. And your gut intuition will be very strong when you've got the evil eye. It will tell you something is wrong and you've been hit by something. You will feel it. You will know someone has given me ain. Someone has given me hasad. So your intuition will inform you. And you might also have dreams of a particular person not liking you. And in those dreams, you might see something that they've done or said, and it's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's way of exposing that person to you, only if you have the dream before Fajr time. Okay, so if you have dreams before Fajr about someone not liking you, take it seriously. This could be Allah telling you to avoid this person, especially if they are someone who you feel drained by. So that's another symptom. If you're around somebody and you always feel drained around that person, then it means that this person has given you the evil eye. Okay, intentionally or unintentionally, they've given it to you because of how they feel about you as a person. And sometimes you'll get health problems, but doctors have no idea what they are and what the medical causes are. So you might go to 3 doctors for an opinion and they all tell you, we have no idea what it is that you have. We've done loads of tests and we have no clue. And it becomes a stressful ordeal for you because you're constantly going through numerous tests and blood tests and all sorts of x-rays and MRI scans and, whatever it is that they do to try and figure out what's wrong with you, and nothing's coming up. This is definitely evil eye, okay? You might even lose your hair. Hair loss is a major sign of evil eye, especially when it's sudden. And knee problems as well. So you might find it suddenly difficult to walk because you've got pain in your knees and pain in your muscles and in your joints too. Okay, so when you have that suddenly, then know that it's evil eye. And irregular menstrual cycles can also indicate evil eye. And this is when it's sudden. So if you have a regular cycle and then all of a sudden you start having cycle issues, this could be evil eye, especially if you develop PCOS, which is the cysts that form over the ovaries. PCOS comes from evil eye as well. And sharp pains that you feel, they're like shooting pains in your body. They come randomly and in different parts of your body, so you can't identify exactly where it is. It could be when you have your menstrual cycle. Maybe you never had pains before and now you do. And if it's not there, like if you're a man, you'll get the pain in your head, in your neck, in your kidney area, your liver area. So because you feel pain in different parts of your body, you can't identify the problem it is that you have. You can't put a finger on it. So that's when you know it's evil eye. Now, obviously, some of these symptoms can come from medical conditions as well, not just the evil eye. But if you find that you have at least 3 to 5 of these symptoms grouped together, then it's a clear indication that you have it, especially when it comes to fatigue and the heaviness and the inability to wake up for Fajr when you used to do it without any problems before. And there are other signs as well, but these are the major ones. But the one final one I want to mention is a sign that you have evil eye from someone is when someone comes to tell you that the person whom you've been socializing with or you've been, in contact with quite a lot has been running a smear campaign behind your back or is gossiping behind your back, speaking badly behind your back, they will inform you of what they've heard or seen to warn you of that person. Okay, so this is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you get this news and information, then this is confirmation that this is someone that you need to avoid. So what are the solutions? The first solution is that you remember to read your morning and evening adhkar. And I've put a link below in the description box to a PDF that you can download of the adhkar. As I've noticed, lots of people don't know what the adhkar are, which is a problem. So inshallah you'll find that easy to read from. The second thing you need to do is ruqya. Now some people find it difficult to do self-ruqya because they get tired and very sleepy. So I've posted a link below to a ruqya recording that you can play during the evening before you sleep, and that will really help as well. And the third thing would be to play Surah Al-Baqarah while you sleep. So it feeds your subconscious and will protect you during the night. And in regards to ruqya as well, get a water bottle and read into the bottle Surah Al-Fatiha, Ayat Al-Kursi, قل هو الله أحد, قل أعوذ برب الناس, قل أعوذ برب الفلق, and blow into the water and then drink from that water during the day. The fourth thing you can do is hijama. So if you haven't done it before, I highly recommend you do that, as it can remove evil eye from your body. So hijama is the removal of toxic blood from your body. So it's done via incisions that are made in the back of your neck, your head, your back, and the back of your legs as well sometimes. So it's a sunnah practice and it's really good for your health. So do try that if you have a hijama clinic near you. And the fifth thing would be stop posting about your blessings and your life and your privacy. Stop bragging and showing off and posting, because it's all very unnecessary and brings you bad energy into your life. And perhaps what you're flaunting is the reason why you're not getting the greater blessing that you are praying for. For example, if you're a woman and you're flaunting your beauty everywhere, maybe that's the reason you haven't got married. And if you're a man hiring supercars and trying to look wealthy on your Instagram page, maybe that's the reason why you actually aren't getting any money, because people are giving you hasad based on what they're seeing in the Instagram pictures. Okay, so you are blocking your rizq from coming to you because you are bragging about other things that are deterring something greater from coming your way. So envy was the reason why the companions of the Prophet ﷺ were afraid of acquiring much wealth and being exposed to many luxuries. After the defeat of the Romans and the Persians, many of the Sahaba worried that the wealth they gained from the war booty would be a source of envy and therefore misguidance. Abdullah ibn Amr radiallahu anhu reported that the Prophet ﷺ said, إِذَا فُتِحَتْ عَلَيْكُمْ فَارِسْ وَالرُّومِ أَيُّ قَوْمٍ أَنْتُمْ. If the treasures of Persia and Rome were opened for you, what kind of people will you become? So Abd al-Rahman ibn Auf radiallahu anhu replied and said, we will be as Allah has ordered us to be. So the Prophet ﷺ, he replied and he said, perhaps you will be something else. You will compete with each other and then envy each other, then turn away from each other and then hate each other. Okay, so he's warning them that when you come into a lot of wealth, or when you pray for a lot of wealth and you get it, you're going to be tested with it. And even if you're good people and you spend it in the cause of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and in charity, and you do so much good with it, you will be tested with the envy of people. So it's really important that you read your adhkar and you do your ruqya to protect yourself from the envy of the envious people. Min sharri hasidin idha hasad. Otherwise the hasad will turn into hate and Muslims will be divided because they're all fighting against each other because of the jealousy. Okay, so it's very important for you to maintain your protection over yourself so that you do not get afflicted with this trial. You know, many people ask me, how do I deal with jealous friends? After this podcast, I hope you understand that you shouldn't be dealing with jealous friends because it's dangerous for you to do so. And if you want to keep jealous friends around you, then there's an issue within yourself, okay? You're not taking your protection seriously. It's really important that you wake up to this. If there are people around you who are envious of you, why do you want to keep them around? Why? Ask yourselves why. If it's because you don't have many friends, you'll make better friends, inshallah. It's better for you to have no friends than only envious friends. And it's also important that you check yourself to make sure that you're not the one who's giving the evil eye to other people either. And you can do this by always remembering to say, mashallah, when you see something you like, Allahumma barik. You know, check your intention always towards other people. Make sure that your heart is purified towards other people. Okay, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us to say, mashallah, when we see something we admire, even if it's something we want that we don't have, we say mashallah, we say Allahumma barik, and we're happy for those people to have those blessings. Allah says in Surah Al-Kahf, ayah 39, وَلَوْلَا إِذْ دَخَلْتَ جَنَّتَكَ قُلْتَ مَا شَاءَ اللَّهُ لَا قُوَّةَ إِلَّا بِاللَّهِ إِن تَرَنِ أَنَا أَقَلَّ مِنْكَ مَالًا وَوَلَدًا. If only you had said upon entering your property, this is what Allah has willed. There is no power except with Allah, even though you see me inferior to you in wealth and offspring. So this verse comes after the man's garden was destroyed because of the hasad. Okay, the evil eye, he didn't say mashallah. And Allah tells us here that you can even give evil eye to yourself. Okay, so even if you see something good in yourself, you say mashallah la quwwata illa billah. Because you may really love something about yourself. And sometimes it can cause your energy to backfire on you. So always remember to say it for yourself as well. Even if it's just by you looking in the mirror in the morning and you thinking to yourself that you look really good that day, say mashallah tabarakallah. Wala hawla wala quwwata illa billah. Because everything you have is by the will of Allah. Okay, it's by the power of Allah. If you have beauty, it's from Allah. If you have intelligence, it's from Allah. If you have happiness, it's from Allah. Okay, don't envy yourselves. Don't shoot yourselves in the foot. And it's also important to be grateful for the blessings that you do have. Try and find contentment in what you do have. So if you are someone who envies people quite a lot, look for the blessings in your life. Okay, try and understand Allah's wisdom in not giving you what you want in this moment in time. And ask yourself why Allah would love other people more than you, if that's what you believe, and work towards achieving that. Okay, work towards achieving that level of love for Allah and from Allah. And you can do this by accepting the divine decree. So when you see people who have special gifts or talents or skills, blessings, then accept that Allah gave them these blessings because it's a part of their life journey. Okay, everyone has a unique life journey. Accept the divine decree of that person. And you'll find that blessings will come into your life without you expecting them to. And another thing you can do is stop seeking validation from people and do things for the sake of Allah. Okay, when you do things to please Allah and not for fame, not for the approval of people, not for the praise of people, when you do it for the sake of Allah, you'll find blessings rolling into your life. Okay, because whether that validation is there or not, you will continue doing what you are doing for the sake of Allah. And that's how doors of rizq are open for you. And if you suffer from waswas, so you get really bad thoughts about people, and these intrusive thoughts are ruining your relationships, it's ruining how you perceive Allah, please increase your dhikr. Okay, repeat astaghfirullah. Repeat la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Repeat a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Get rid of your waswas, your intrusive thoughts, by remembering Allah. Because you have to overpower your qareen as well. When you overpower your qareen, bidhikrillah, you will be able to think with a clear mind and with a pure heart. And finally, the way to purify the heart from jealousy and envy is to make dua to Allah to protect people from your evil eye and jealousy. So if envy urges us to hate someone, we should try to love what's good for them. And if envy encourages us to wish harm on someone, we should pray for them. So it takes a great amount of humility to intend and do good for those you envy. However, the benefits greatly outweigh the discomfort that people will feel from experiencing the backfire from it. Okay, so the backfire is more painful than actually praying for people to be protected from your evil eye. And this was the habit of the Prophet ﷺ. He would make dua for everyone every morning and evening in order to purify his heart. So imagine he's the best of creation who never had any malice or hatred towards anyone, and he still made that dua. So imagine the rest of us and how much we are all in need of making this dua on a daily basis to purify our hearts towards other people. Because like I said before, the evil eye can sometimes be unintentional. You don't wish to harm anyone, but you can't help but feel that jealousy and envy towards them, because what they have is what you desperately want. So I'll end the podcast here, as it's now 3 hours and 13 minutes, and I'd like to end it with a beautiful hadith in which Anas ibn Malik radiallahu anhu reported that the Prophet ﷺ said, يا بني إن قدرت أن تصبح وتمسي ليس في قلبك غش لأحد فافعل. Oh my boy, if you are able every morning and evening to remove any malice from your heart towards anyone, then do so. Then the Prophet ﷺ went on to say, يا بني وذلك من سنتي ومن أحيا سنتي فقد أحبني ومن أحبني كان معي في الجنة. Oh my boy, that is my tradition, my sunnah. And whoever revives my tradition has loved me. And whoever loves me will be with me in paradise. So I hope you've enjoyed this podcast. Thank you for listening until now if you're still with me. Please do like the podcast if it's helped you. Do share it with people whom you feel could benefit. And do subscribe to the channel for more related content. I hope you found it helpful. I hope it's given you some clarity and it's inspired you, inshallah, to do some inner work so that you can improve in your spiritual health and in the protection of yourself. And I pray that Allah gives everyone the rizq they have been praying for and dream of having, whether that's in this life or the next, and that when it's given to you in this dunya, that it's not given to you as a hardship or a trial, but rather as a joy. So I pray that Allah protects everyone who has Iman. This is the most precious thing you have, so make sure that you are protected against any evil eye from people who wish to take that from you, because that is exactly what narcissists will be set out to do. Okay, so protect that with everything you've got. And if you're struggling with your Iman, or it's very weak, or you haven't found it yet, I pray that inshallah you will find it soon. So thank you again for listening, and until the next podcast, inshallah, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.